What's up, everybody? This is Karak with ACG, and I'm here with TKD Gaming, and we are doing, I don't know, random thoughts video, random shit video. This is done because, especially when I'm reviewing games, I'm completely stressed out at the end, or super tired at least. And Takedown and I are always chatting either in private chat or in the main chat, and we're always laughing about just random stuff. And I was like, you know what? Let's just start recording this. He came up with the idea actually first before me. So we just decided we were going to jump in and cover some stuff. Probably won't be as much games as you guys expect, so be aware of that. We are going to talk about random shit. Takedown, do you have your URL that you can post in the Twitch channel and tell people?
Yes. Yep, I'll post it in the chat and I'll say what it is as well. It is youtube.com/Mr. Takedown KD.
Mr. Takedown KD, because he changed the damn... oh, here. Oh, yeah. Twitch is like, you can't send that. Send it in Discord to me and I'll post it. So
okay, because message deleted is not the name of my channel.
Yeah, well, message deleted should be the name of your channel, though. Let's be honest.
that'd be a good name.
Yeah, so I choose two topics that we're going to talk about, and then he sort of decides which one we're going to talk about. I'm going to read a little bit about it, and then we're going to break into the discussion on it itself. The first one is, do we want to talk about sharks or flying motorbikes?
Flying motorbikes first.
Flying motorbikes. So normally he wouldn't know what these are, but we did talk a little bit about this prior because I just found it so funny. So this is from Newsweek, but basically it says, criminals in Dubai already have to contend with the police force's supercars, but will soon have to keep an eye on the skies as well. Dubai's police force have started training on flying motorcycles with a view to introduce the vehicles into service by 2020, CNN reported. Now, I'm going to show you guys live. I can show you guys a couple seconds of this without getting in trouble. Let's go to news here. Let's show you guys live. So that's what it looks like originally. It looks like a nice little flying motorbike. It doesn't look too bad there. But when you go to the video and you watch this, let's watch a couple seconds of this. This is hilarious. It's the world's slowest, like, high-speed chase. I don't know what they're thinking. Also, look at the blades on that thing. Dude, you know what's going to happen, Takedown? The first time you take a corner, somebody's going to fall off and chop their own head off.
That'd be amazing to watch, though.
And they show a video of these guys in a race, or not in a race, but at a racetrack, and it is quite literally 8 miles per hour. I don't know. So what do you think, though? Do you like the idea of it? I mean, or do you think, like I do, that maybe technology-wise it needs another 10 years?
Yeah, I don't think it's there yet. I think from the video, it's going as slow as anything I've ever seen.
yeah, you could run.
A criminal could just run down the road and just be like, turn a corner.
Or what if a criminal throws a brick at your fucking propeller, Takedown? Like, what? Like,
oh, wait a minute. It says it can reach a maximum speed of 60 miles per hour.
But they never show that. And 60 is about half the speed of a normal sports car. Right?
Yeah, but 60 against someone who's running, that's game over.
Oh, that's game over, yeah. Well, hey, you know what? In Dubai, I don't know what the rules are. Maybe you just behead the person running. You just take that propeller down, I don't know.
Public execution, that would be cool.
I mean, it's cool. Dubai always is pushing the limit. They also have supercars for their police chase vehicles. I don't know if you know that. They have, like, insanely fast 200.
Oh, yeah, they've got like the best cars in the world just for their police cars.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like police Tokyo Drift version, where everybody's just got these hyped up cars. If you were a police officer, though, would you get on that fucking thing?
I don't know. Probably. I'd probably get on it as me now just to try it out.
Would you? I don't know if I would, man.
Yeah.
Those propellers are like 6 inches from your fucking face, man. I don't know. It doesn't seem like you would last very long if you jumped onto that.
It can go as high as 16 feet, apparently. That's pretty high. I'd probably shit myself, to be honest. It's 16 feet above the ground.
Have you ever done crazy shit like that? Have you ever done like a bungee cord? Bungee jump?
No, I've done abseiling. That's about it, and that doesn't really count as anything.
What is that? Explain that.
It's where you go to like a really tall building or like a big structure, and you just basically stand at the top, and you jump off it with a rope, and you climb down the rope. That's it.
So it's a sport that you're just escaping a fire, technically.
Yeah, you're basically a fireman walking down the side of a building. It's pretty cool.
When did you do that? Was it a while ago, or was it recently?
When I was 12.
I mean, so what do you get from that? You just grab a rope and you climb down the side of the building?
Yeah, it's like one of those like yeah. I guess it's like skydiving, things like that. Just doing it for the thrill. There's no purpose to it. I don't think.
Do you
It's
think
just
do you think your parents were
if
trying to
it's.
kill you? They were
Oh
like
no, it was on a
signing you
school
up.
trip. It was on a school trip. They didn't know.
Shit, man, our school trips, like, they won't even give you high fat mayonnaise. They're afraid of everybody dying from a heart attack, let alone
Oh,
let you
our
climb.
school trip was mental. We went to like a farm, and there was all these abseiling and zip. Oh, there was a zip line that scared the crap out of me. I haven't been on one since. All sorts. It was really good. Wild
What
animals roaming around while we stayed in a cabin.
zip lining with a pig like the Simpsons? Spider
That'd be
pig.
amazing.
What'd you like about the zip lining? It sounded like you enjoyed that.
Uh, it's just exhilarating. I like the because you get the thrill of just the adrenaline rush. I guess.
And you're still safe. Like there's
Yeah,
no,
you're going to be safe. I mean, if
yeah.
you're going to die, then your family's going to get a big payout. So everyone wins.
Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
wins.
Hopefully you die quick though, and you don't do the thing where like you shatter both your femur and slowly descend into madness. Yeah, I don't know. When I saw this, I wanted to talk to you about it because I find the idea of air bikes cool since I was a little kid. Like
Yeah.
Ewoks, Return of the Jedi, when they had their speeder bikes.
Oh yeah.
I
Or in
mean,
the oh yeah, I'm thinking of something else in Star Wars, but that came way after, didn't it? The Anakin races.
yeah, those
Obviously, that came
pod
way later.
races. Yeah, well, yeah, because you probably were still like 2 years old when Return of the Jedi came out. I don't even think you were born.
Wait,
Right?
Return of the Jedi that came out in '75, didn't it?
No. That was that was the original that came out in 74, 75, 73, 74, 75. But Return
When
of the
did
Jedi
Return
was
come
80s.
out? Oh, that was probably 10 years before I was born. Then yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the speeder bike stuff like that, that'd be an absolute blast. I don't know though. Why do you think they're doing that? Like they got their supercars, right? Why do you think they
Yeah.
think attack choppers, one man attack choppers, is a good idea?
I don't know. I think they just think it's cool. Probably it's good press for their government. That's probably all it is.
They just sit back and they're like, "What would be cool?" Yeah, attack, one man attack helicopters, and everybody's like, "Yeah, that sounds cool to me. Let's do it." I mean,
Yeah, they're
like,
$150,000 each, so that's not exactly cheap.
how much?
$150,000. It will set them back. Each one will set Dubai back around $150,000,
Holy Christ!
and it can only stay airborne with a pilot for 10 to 25 minutes. That's it. Bad.
This is quite simply the worst idea ever. That's awesome. 16 feet above the ground, it can go half the speed of a normal car, and it only lasts for 20 minutes. That is exactly 100% just to be cool, like you said. That is.
There's nothing. There's nothing else there.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Now, it doesn't mean in 10 years, they won't have a new battery style, something that can, or, something that can power those.
Yeah,
a lot
I think
longer.
what's his name? Elon Musk will probably come up with the one that actually works.
Yeah. On a fucking tablecloth while he's out eating at Subway. He'll just be like, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's see if we can make a one-man attack chopper last
Exactly.
longer."
One day he'll just fly into like a press conference on one to be like, "I'm cool."
That's awesome with his VR helmet and shit. He just 4 giant like technological advances all by Elon Musk in the same day. Did you see
Yeah.
his announcement of the truck, the semi truck, the
Uh,
electric semi truck?
Oh yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah, I didn't watch anything on it official, but I heard about it.
Gotcha. It's just crazy because when I was a kid and you were growing up, battery power meant shit, right? Like
Yeah,
it never meant powerful or good or anything, and then Tesla comes along and you're just like, the fuck? I mean,
you know what Tesla need to do? They need to make a phone battery that lasts more than like 2 hours.
they do.
Why have they not? I don't understand why they haven't done that. It makes no sense.
I didn't even think about that. That is true because my phone battery does. I mean, it lasts.
Yeah.
It lasts a little longer than that. But the idea of them going like flying cars, electric trucks. Oh wait, phone batteries. The one thing we all bitch about. That's funny.
Yeah, because everything they do is based on batteries at the moment. So just get a phone one. Get a battery that makes an iPhone last as long as a Nokia 3310. That's what I want.
Do you ever watch the launches, the rocket launches from Elon's company?
I saw the one where it launched and then it landed itself. I thought that was phenomenal.
So it's reusable. That's the main reason why they
Yeah.
do that. But it blows me away because when I was a kid, sci-fi never had them re-landing because at the time it was just not cost effective. It was more cost effective to actually just throw it up into space and build a new one. And it's crazy because when that thing lands takedown, like it lands on a boat. It doesn't even land like on land. It's a fucking boat, which is already going to be rocked by waves and moving. And it's just, it's so insane. I mean, it's come
amazing.
so far. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. You know what's sad though? One person, everybody around him, but one person has come up with a lot of these, right? Like I'm worried about when there's no Elon Musk. You know, with somebody else.
That's what people said about what's his name?
Bill
Steve
Gates?
Jobs. But
Steve Jobs.
I mean, Steve Jobs, I don't even think he did the best work at Apple. I think there was someone else who was doing better stuff than him. Whereas Elon Musk really is the centerpiece of his company. Yeah,
it's true. And he really is. I mean, you know, he says some stupid shit, but he really is a genius. Like you look at, you know, next level thinking for everything. Also, he's a multitasker, dude. He's like us trying to play 7 games at the same time, but he's successfully doing it somehow. Like when he's all, I've got a boring company that's going to make fucking underground tunnels for cars in cities. I'm making a spaceship, and I'm gonna, you know, redefine everything about electronic cars.
Yeah, because he's got another company called something that he makes silly things with just for fun. He made flamethrowers, and he sold about 50,000 of them. But it wasn't technically a flamethrower. That's how he got away with selling it.
Man, dude, I don't know, man. Like you hear about shootings and stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Why is Elon Musk giving people flamethrowers? It's ridiculous.
Exactly. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you know, as somebody who's been on the wrong end of that shit, I certainly would rather be shot than lit on fire. Right? Like,
yeah. Oh God.
Oh, and the idea of, you know, that kind of stuff always is crazy to me. And it shows the video of him with the flamethrower. Just, and I don't know how he said it wasn't a flamethrower. It's flame, and it goes a long ways. Like,
yeah, it's a flamethrower. There's some technical thing as to why it's not technically, but it is.
I wonder if it's like because it doesn't jet, you know, fuel. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but I mean, it can still kill someone, so that shit shouldn't be allowed.
So in the future, Takedown, Dubai's going to have one-man attack choppers with phones that last forever and flamethrowers mounted on it. That, right there, $250,000 a person. Each person jumps on it, lasts for like 6 hours. 20 minutes, that's not even a high-speed chase, man.
No, you could just outwalk it. If you've got good stamina, and you're a jogger.
Can you
someone in a wheelchair could go faster probably and outdo it.
Yeah, and can you imagine them like, stop, and you're all no, and you just keep walking, and they're all stop, and you're all nope, and you just get until finally it just crashes because it runs out of battery.
Yeah, ridiculous. I need to see it in action. I want to see an actual chase. They're going to have to do one eventually.
Yeah, or show a video, you know, of like what it would look like, because right now, right now it just looks sort of like a disaster. So that people understand some of what we're talking about. Here's a little snippet of video from YouTube that I'm going to show you guys, which is it's from Discovery Canada. I'll just play it for a second here and show you guys. Whoops. So that's the thing taken off. And there's me, my little brother, with his beanie on his head. But you can see right there, I mean, that thing's going like, I don't know, 7 miles an hour, maybe. It does jet off into, it's way more than 16 feet in the air. Holy shit. You saw a video that said 16 feet takedown?
Yeah. Oh, I'm watching the video you're showing. Jesus Christ. That's high.
That's high. That's way more. If their version of 16 feet is that, maybe it also goes faster. I don't know. But that's pretty insane. Definitely. So the next thing I want to talk about, shark attacks. Something you and I have talked about, especially when we watched BuzzFeed. There was the one, remember? The girl got eaten by a shark.
Yeah. There couldn't have been a shark for some reason.
Yeah, they came up with all other ideas, like UFOs, man-eating fucking marsupials, and then suddenly they're
yeah, it just turned out to be 2 creepy dudes.
Yeah, it turned out, or basically that's what we thought. But shark attack, this is Fox News. Sorry for anybody who doesn't like Fox News. This is just where I'm getting it, but all news places covered this. Shark attack kills young doctor amid rash of dangerous encounters at tourist hotspot. And I admit, it was yesterday when Takedown and I were coming up with ideas for this, and I read that as terrorist hotspot. And I was like, what the fuck? Sharks are killing terrorists? I don't know if I was just really tired.
That'd be the best defense to terrorism. ISIS versus sharks.
Yeah, no shit, man.
That should be the new Sharknado, ISIS versus sharks.
You watched the Sharknadoes?
I've never seen them, but I'd see ISIS versus Sharks. That'd be amazing. But Michael Bay should do that.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to everybody who subscribes. I definitely appreciate it. Subscribe to me or Takedown if you get a chance. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Subscribe to me.
Subscribe to Takedown. Feels by the foot says it's like Austin Powers. Did they have laser beams attached to their heads? I think he's still talking about the motorbikes. Oh, or maybe he's talking about the sharks. Yeah, the sharks.
Yeah, the sharks in Austin Powers. Oh,
I forgot.
Post it.
Yeah. Anyway, it basically said that, you know, one more attack has happened. We've seen shark attacks on the rise. And it is interesting, you know, I mean, obviously shark attacks are going to be on the rise the more people go out into fucking shallow water and they swim up to you and eat you. But it is funny how a shark, you always hear the stories about a shark will fucking take a bite of somebody and then leave them.
Yeah.
Like taste them. They'll be all, and then they just drop them. And I've always wondered if, like, we just taste terrible.
Probably.
Like we must taste like chemicals and diabetes. And they're all, nah, man, I'm good. I'll eat a seal.
Yeah, I bet fat people taste nicer.
You think so? You think a nice, juicy, fat person, like a marbled steak?
I don't know, actually, because the more lean an animal is, the nicer the steak is. If you get a fat animal, it's just full of gristle. So probably not.
Yeah, but I mean, you get the marbling, right, around the steak. So it depends on the
If you're really a fat person, it's just going to be loads of, like, fat and then a bit of steak.
But I wonder if a shark, man, you know, shark comes up and bites you. It's probably, you know, they always say it's a test. I think it's a fucking joke. I think all the sharks are talking and they're like, dude, we can just bite these guys and swim off. They can't do anything. Like, let's watch. It's like their version of the UFC. They just bite people and then swim back and they watch.
I just imagine a Joe Rogan shark now narrating it.
He's got him in the triangle bite hold. He's it just seems to me that, like, it is on the rise. It's always interesting to see what sharks can do too. They scare the shit out of me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think I was reading that they're not on the rise, they're just more publicized. So they're the same they've always been, but now it's getting more attention. That's what I read.
Yeah, it could. I mean, that could obviously be, but you hear that excuse a lot of times that it's like murder happened just as much, but now we're reporting it. Blah, blah, blah happened just as much. But it's like on some things, I think it's higher. With sharks, who knows? Because I think a lot of times people disappeared. And, you know, back in the day, no one investigated and found out it was a shark attack. So it could be possible that, like, the same number is happening. But I like to think that they're planning a giant attack and that it's on the increase. I like to think that they're slowly testing our defenses, like a little bit like an alien menace, but it's just sharks. Sharks working with dolphins.
Dolphins.
Greatest
segue of all time, right there.
Yeah, we won't talk about dolphin sex on this podcast, at least right now. But what else?
Tune into the next couple of podcasts, and we'll do it so you can stay.
Exactly. What have you been doing? It sounds like you were jumping into a card game, right?
Yes, Dragon Ball Super card game. Because I'm so cool.
So show the people. Do you have the ability to flash a card at the?
I've got the ability to flash something.
Ooh.
No one else is going to know this. If anyone in the chat has played this, then...
So explain to me, just off the top of your head, like, what do you do in the game?
It's really okay.
Is it two-person? Is it group-based?
Yeah, it's one versus one. So it's not similar to Magic, but it's the same sort of style, where it's one versus one. You have a deck of cards.
Right.
Then you have, like, life, so you have to attack the enemy to get rid of their life. You play energy, so you can play cards. I mean, without going really in depth, that's pretty much the basics. You have energy, you have life. Let's
talk about the theme. Is it where you're creating a deck based on one character, like you're fighting mono?
You can. There are themed boosters that come out. So basically, it's a booster box with a theme. So I don't know if you know any of the characters from Dragon Ball Z, but you'll get like a theme of giant characters that are really big in the actual show, and they give you, like, that's a normal size card. But then I'll get it out.
Yeah, get out. It sounds like there's bigger cards you can get.
Yeah, so just for the leaders, for the characters that are giant, they did cards that big.
Oh, no shit.
Which is much bigger.
So that looks like World of Warcraft, the card game, which had your main character as, like, your main set, and then the people around him. But it sounds to me, so originally when you were describing it, what I thought you were making a deck around one character and then all his special moves, and the cards were the special moves. So, like, one of the character, you choose a character, I choose a character, but it sounds to me like it can be a team of characters.
You choose a leader. Everyone has a leader, so
Everybody
that's the
has a
main.
leader.
Yeah, so this is a battle card. Then you have a leader card, and then you have extra cards. So the leader card can't be destroyed. You attack it to take your opponent's life, but it can't ever be destroyed or put in the drop area or that sort of stuff. It's your main. Basically, you build your deck around that card usually.
Are the ways you win pretty typical? Like cut their health down, or are there other things like you run out of cards? Or
if you run out of cards, you automatically lose because you've got no more to play.
Okay.
Or if you get their life down to 0 from 8, then you win. That's pretty much it.
How long's a game take?
There's a few. It can take. It depends on the decks because you've got fast decks, you've got slow decks. Some people I play with for the tournaments are very slow at playing, so it can take longer.
So how many cards can you have?
50 in a deck, and then 1 leader card, so 51, but it's not part of the deck.
Okay, gotcha. And we were talking about this because I'll show you guys in a second HeroClix because we're both like big nerds. But it was funny because he was talking about, I think there was a new theme coming out this week, right?
Yeah, I got that yesterday.
And so what's the theme? What's it called?
This theme's called World Martial Arts Tournament. So if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z, they have like 3 or 4 martial arts tournaments between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically where all the characters in the show fight each other in an official capacity in a tournament. Which happens throughout all 200 odd episodes, and then basically all the characters from that are in it, dressed as their characters from that particular episode or series.
Gotcha.
And then the themes based around that, and then you'll have cards that say things like only cards with this name can be used in this deck and stuff, and that's where the themes come in to make them distinguished.
I want to say thanks to Dank Galileo for the bits. I definitely appreciate it. I don't want to interrupt our conversations with those, so occasionally it'll take me a little bit to say thank you. So it's funny, though, that you like these. Like we've found, especially with games, we end up liking a lot of the same ones. Like there's some overlap there in what we like. I was actually surprised that you liked this just because it seems like... It seems to me that it's random. But what you're saying is it's not. You bought 300 cards, I think you said. And
yeah, it's all booster packs, so you don't know what you're gonna get.
And then you got the booster packs, and then you like decided you made a deck. But what I was confused about, what do you do with the other cards? So you have 250 additional cards. What you brought something up yesterday about trading and shit?
Basically, I've got about 25 boxes like this, just full of hundreds of cards.
Cool.
So that's what happens to them, and then you can build different decks because there's about 50 different decks you can build throughout the 2 years it's been available. So you can build them, trade them, you can keep them as part of a collection if you've got like a folder like I do. You can proper nerd it out.
Does each card cost money to use in the game? So like mana or what?
Yeah, like that there says 3, so that costs 3 energy. Mana, same thing. And then some have 0, some have 7, 12.
Do you feel like the game is a purchase to win kind of thing? Like if you spend a bunch of money?
I think that could be the same with any card game. If you buy the best cards, but then they bring out cards that nerf. So if they bring out a card that's really good, there'll always be another card that's good against that card to make it fair. They're very good at that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You've been into this for how long? Because you do tournaments.
I've done about 50 tournaments, so I've done it for about a year and a half.
Jesus, in a year and a half, and you've already done 50 tournaments. Have you won any?
Probably like a third.
Damn,
it's only they're twice a week. There's not that many people go. It's only like 10 to 15 people.
When you win, what do you get? You get like
it depends.
A hug
if
from
you win
a girl,
pretty girl at a card game tournament. That is never going to happen. You get some girls there, but anyway. So you either get booster packs if it's a casual event, or if it's an official tournament, you get whatever the official prizing is. Bandai Namco are the ones who do it.
Really? That's interesting, man. So if I wanted to jump in, how much? Like if I decided to jump in, what's a newcomer going to spend to have a playable deck at a tournament?
There's one deck you can buy, which is £11 for the deck. It's a starter deck, so it's obviously all the starter decks in this game aren't very good. But if you add a few cards to it, you could have a deck that could probably win. So probably 20 quid.
It's not that bad.
£30, yeah, not too much. Plus in America, it's much cheaper for some reason. Over here, it's more expensive for the cards.
Oh, really? It's just one
Yeah,
of
I've
those.
imported a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. When you import them, do you just get them from like an eBay and then just have them shipped over, or they're special? I'm sure there's special stores that you can go to, right? Pick cards.
Yeah, I usually just go to eBay though, because you get individual selling boxes very cheap.
Gotcha. So
And
Oh, go
yeah.
ahead. Continue. By
No,
all means.
that's just gonna say yeah. I just said yeah. That's it.
Oh, so what I've been doing is Hero Clicks, which is it's basically a miniatures game. One of the things I like about this is I ended up shipping Takedown some boxes of these. They're like a card game, but what they do is they have all the rules on the base and the base twist, so you can see the numbers there. And this one is Harlequin. It's these kind of games, especially when you're definitely. It's funny because when I grew up, all of these games we played were so complex rules wise. You had these big pieces of paper, all this crazy stuff, and now with like Hero Clicks, everything's on a dial. You literally need nothing but the character, and to understand what special skills are. So there's an attack skill, might be a special color. It might mean that they have, laser vision or something like that. But also, when I grew up, I don't know if this is the same where you were, but you had to paint your miniatures. Everything was unpainted. And now, like all of these, all the ones he's got, all the ones I've got are all pre-painted, which is pretty crazy when you look at it from a cost perspective and a wasting time perspective. You can
still get loads. You can still get loads you have to paint. I know someone, because the place I go to have got 2 tables where you literally just sit there and paint your figures. So there's still some that do that, but it's less common.
Yeah. Well, I mean, time-wise, right? It's hard. It takes a long time to paint a miniature. I used to paint all the time, and it just never turned out to be as useful as like this, where they're painted for you.
Yeah, and they're obviously going to be painted much better.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I don't know how good you were.
I was pretty good. I would say I was better than the basic paint jobs here, but you can dip these, which it's a little trick that like people picked up in the last couple of years, which is where of all things you take a fairly poorly painted miniature and you dip it in Minwax, and the dark of the Minwax sinks into any cracks on the character and gives them shading, and it actually improves the look of even basic characters you buy. But there's some huge HeroClix characters. I was showing Takedown some pictures. There's like characters that are like 4 times the size of this. It's very fun. I wish I had those pictures that we made of the game table too. That's another thing I like. Is game tables. Do you guys use card mats when you play? Like a mat that tells you where to put your cards, or do you just play on the table in front of you?
Card mat.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And the artwork on these are absolutely amazing.
Oh, very cool. You got a couple of them?
That's a winner's mat that I didn't win. I bought, so I cheated. Yeah, I've got 2 of them.
Dude, you could have completely lied and just been like,
"Nah,
dude, I win them all."
I want people challenging me to Dragon Ball card games. Don't want to think I'm too good.
Purple Mango says, "I think I prefer to paint my own so you can customize." I would agree with that for sure. The problem is that in the time that I can customize one character, I can buy and play 15 games. That's so to me at some point, especially now, like I'm sure Takedown has this in their game where you have a card and then you might have a special version of the card. There's usually 3 versions of this, each one painted different. And there's about 6,000 figures, I think, now. But a nice thing is when I sent these boxes to Takedown, one game of HeroClix only costs like $7.99. And you get like you get 5 miniatures and the rules. And dice even, which is pretty crazy. I mean, it used to be such an expensive hobby. Yeah, bring it up.
That's called an SR, so that's a super rare.
Okay.
And then this is an SPR, which is a special rare. This is the same card. It's exactly the same card, but this one's worth like double. Gotcha. And I'll show you the ultimate. It's called a secret rare. And say you get like a booster box. You'll get 10 of those booster boxes in a crate, and there's probably 1 of these cards in the entire crate. Okay. So the chances of pulling it are unbelievable. I've got one that I did pull from a pack, which was my proudest moment. I think that's the thing about those packs, like they're addictive. They can be a gambling kind of thing. Oh, very cool. You can tell the artwork even is just at another level. It also looks like the card might be metallic. Yeah, it is. Okay, gotcha.
That's cool.
Yeah,
and so
that's one in 12 boxes, which is boxes, not booster pack. Like you get a booster box,
right,
which is like one box, which is what I showed you earlier. Then you get 12 of those or 10 of those in a crate, which is the size of this room, and one in every crate. You get one of those cards. It's ridiculously rare. It's unbelievable.
I think that's one thing I do like about HeroScape a little bit more is it's you have your common, your normal, and your rare characters, but the chance of pulling a rare per box is actually not bad. I would say when I sent you, I think I sent you a brick, right? 12 boxes. I think if I remember right. I think in 12 boxes, the chance of you getting 6 or 7 rares is actually pretty good, if not a legendary or two, which to me I think helps, especially with money. The highest is technically, well, they have weirder terms, but we'll just call them legendary. But they also have special. You know how comic books have their series, like the Death of Superman, right? So you might get a Superman that's normal. He looks normal, but then you might get Batman / Superman, which is from like a comic where he was the same guy. And then you might get that character, which is an ultra, like super rare.
Oh, okay.
The nice thing is I don't know about your game, but in this one, if you have a common character and you have a super rare character, yes, the super rare character is more powerful, but not by the amount I think you would expect, which I like. So that means if somebody shows up and they have common characters and I have rares, usually you can still balance it and go, okay, this is going to be, a fair fight, especially because we have to choose in HeroScape, HeroClix, you have to choose your characters by how many points they cost. So a character have a points cost on the dial. You can see the numbers there. Ooh. And each one might cost 50 points and you might only have a 300 point limit. So somebody else might have an ultra rare Superman at 150 points, and another person has 3 Supermen at 50 points apiece. And if you get the 3 Supermen against one, there's a really good chance that one great one will still get his ass kicked, just because of the law of averages, which I like. I mean, it's cool you liked it. I didn't know you liked it until I can't remember when we started talking about it, but it was interesting to see you liked card games. I've always had difficulties playing them. I don't know.
I've only ever played. This is the only one I've ever played, to be honest.
Yeah. And what
I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
What got you into this?
Well, Dragon Ball is my favorite thing in the entire universe. It's lit. I love it. I'm fucking obsessed.
Oh, gotcha.
I have. If you went into my bedroom, you'd see every DVD, every movie, every Blu-ray, different versions of different boxes, action figures of the statues of the characters. It's just one of my favorite things. I don't know why, because I grew up with it between the ages of 5 and 10, so it really stuck.
And then did you go to a game board or a game store and you saw these cards, or did somebody on the internet
I found out. Me and my brother found out these were coming out because they've done a Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT card game in the past, but I never was really into those because I wasn't into card games.
Right.
But then I started to get into Yu-Gi-Oh for a few weeks. I thought it was the biggest load of shit I've ever experienced. So then I saw this and I was like, let's try it out because Dragon Ball's my favorite, and it's just one of the most fun things I've ever done. Because me and my brother do it together, so it's like a bonding thing.
SC Wolf, thank you very much for subscribing. I definitely appreciate it. So it seems to me, so like you and your brother bond over it, but do you ever have that time where you beat him and he's like, I'm going to kill you in your sleep? Or are you guys pretty good?
That happened the other day. He got really he got really bitchy because I beat him. Because he's better than me. He always beats me usually, which I don't mind admitting because it's true. I know, yeah, but then when I do beat him, he can't take it.
But you beat him. One, there's some luck involved, it sounds like, obviously, when you draw. The second is you guys are building your decks. So even though he got mad or irritated by it, in the end, he's still most of the time going to beat you just because he's
a better player than me.
So how do you be better?
He's played Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, he's played Yu-Gi-Oh! For about 10 years now. So he knows card games, because all card games work on a similar sort of mindset where you need to work out the strategies and the layers and the levels and what to do. And he's done that for 10 years. I've only played this for a year and a half. So he just knows card games better than me in general. He puts more time into it. He goes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments. He's been to them in 5 different countries.
Wow. Your brother's a nerd.
Yeah, he is. He's taken Yu-Gi-Oh! But then he's making a lot of money off Yu-Gi-Oh! As well in the past. Because he buys and sells them. He's made like thousands.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's I think it's cool because like especially in maybe in the last 10 years games like this have become less nerdy. You know, prior to that, if you were to be like I play D&D or I like to do miniatures, people would be like what the fuck, you know, and now that video games, I think that's
Yeah,
one thing video games have helped with is like people see a video game, they're more realistic now, there's more shit going on, people start to look at them in a different light and then other forms of entertainment connected to them are a little bit easier to sort of get somebody to digest and
yeah.
and they can jump into easier. Um, Yu-Gi-Oh was how many years prior to Dragon Ball? It was a couple. How
Oh,
the card game?
that's been out for a long time. That's been out for about more than 10 years, maybe. It's Konami's biggest thing.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
even
it's
know that.
huge for them.
I didn't even know that. If you guys are watching and you're in the chat, feel free to post if you do play any of these or any games that you actually like. There's a couple more, but this would probably be my favorite. I'm a big board game fan. Do you guys do board games?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought you were asking the people in the
I
chat, and I was like,
apologize.
I'll just sit here and listen. No, not really. My family hates Monopoly. That's the only one I've ever really played.
So you guys
My mum's got a huge thing against Monopoly. She just she will not even look at it.
really?
Yeah, because she was forced to play it as a kid for like 10 years every week, and she hates it.
You and your brother haven't ever decided to go in together on a board game?
We played Pokemon Monopoly. There's a Dragon Ball Z Monopoly, which yeah, but not really. I got all I've ever played is Monopoly. Like I got a Monopoly 2 years ago with the credit card machine where you put the card in. There's no cash. I thought the idea of that was fucking super exciting. I played one game and got bored.
Yeah, I mean it's Monopoly, right?
There's no cash to hand out. I thought, I don't need cash. I got a credit card,
Yeah.
and then it's just putting the card in. It's just I like to count out the cash.
Feels by the Foot says, has anyone played Twilight Imperium? And I would say not only have I played it, it's probably top 3 games of all time for me. Twilight Imperium is one of those board games, though, that you have to set minimum 1 day aside. Even the newest version, which they said sped up the gameplay. I was a big fan of the second edition.
Yeah.
And holy fuck, Twilight Imperium takes forever to play. Like we would invite friends over, and we would start at 8 a.m. and we would maybe be done by midnight. Maybe. Some board games are great, but I think that you can like games, but understand there's some severe weaknesses. It's almost like video games where you're like, hey, I like this game, but it's shit. I mean, we both like Earthfall, right?
Yeah.
But Earthfall isn't going to win any awards. It's not necessarily shit, but it's not going to win any awards. I think, matter of fact, you and I probably like it more than like ratings would have shown.
Yeah, definitely.
And that happens with board games too, where some, like especially with the Twilight Imperium. For anybody who doesn't know, Twilight Imperium is a game about space exploration and combat and controlling space, basically taking over and becoming this massive, I guess, spacefaring race. But it's random all the time because as you travel, hexes or like basically the landscape is placed as you explore. And the thing with Twilight Imperium is it was one of the first games I've ever played that was a board game where 2 people could go at the same time. So it'd be my turn. And remember, I came from board games where you had a turn, then the person next to you had a turn, then I had a turn, blah, 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 and there was no overlap. But with Twilight Imperium, it was one of the first games where there was overlap. And it was one of the most confusing games I've ever played when I would be thinking up and doing my steps and somebody else would interrupt those steps. And it's great now. I think we're all accustomed to those board games now. But man, when that first came out, it confused the fuck out of me. Because I'm a big fan of Monopoly. But that's more of a 1, 2, 3. You know, sort of a 1, 2, 3 step. I don't know about you, Takedown 2. I can buy different Monopolies. It's the same fucking game. But I'll buy...
yeah, it's a different theme. I've bought like 5. Mario, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z.
Doom doesn't Doom
have
Doom...
One? Whoa. If it does, I want it. But what would the theme be, like around the board?
I can't remember. It's not Doom. It's not
Fallout?
Gears of War. It might be Fallout. Yeah, it might be Fallout.
Yeah, that's got actual towns and stuff that would make sense.
Yeah. For me, I also am a huge fan of the digital versions of Monopoly because I don't want to count the money sometimes. I know that I agree with you that most of the time I do, but sometimes I don't want to. And the Xbox had this one game of Monopoly that had like 4 boards, including like a fantasy board, whereas you went by on your fucking unicorn, a dragon would be on the side breathing fire, and there's that interactivity and 3D feeling to Monopoly that doesn't exist in the board game version. Which
all I want to do is play Monopoly on PC now.
Yeah,
we should do a game. We should.
I'd play the shit. I would definitely play a game of Monopoly. Citizen Sleeve says Risk is my old school go to with friends. Used to play HeroScape or Hero Space Quest, then D&D, then Warhammer. Another one is Hero Quest, which was that shit was amazing back in the day. Like all of those board games. I've got Mario Chess. Sleeve says Mario Chess.
Is D&D a board game?
D&D can be. It depends on, first of all, which of the 85 editions you are playing.
Yeah, true.
But especially with 3.5, they went very miniature-like. So prior to that, when they said a character had a special move, they'd be like, remember when you and I played D&D and you had to come up with a special move? And that special move, normally in D&D, they'd say you can hit an opponent 10 feet away, right? And 10 feet to you and I makes sense. I can go, that's about 10 feet away. But then in the 3rd edition, they started putting in rules for miniatures. So it'd say 10 feet / 1 inch. So that you knew on the game board, it'd be 1 inch. But if you weren't using a game board, it would be 10 feet. And that to me was pretty board game like. In fact, they made it clear that they were trying to go for a World of Warcraft. Once video games became popular, D&D thought, oh, we'll do that. They've switched away, which is nice. But yeah, there's a lot. And then there's actual D&D board games. Pathfinder has a board game that you and I could play, by the way, in Tabletop Simulator. But it's a board game, but it's D&D. You have a character in front of you. The best one I've played so far that's like that is a Star Wars game called Conquest, and you actually have you have heroes from the game, different characters, and then it actually has you read scenarios. So like if you go to this place on the map and there's like a red one, you find the red one in your rule book, and there's a little flavor text which is like you walk around the corner and blah blah blah. And then you put the characters out like it says to, and then you have a little mini, battle. Yeah. So it's a mix between that tabletop and...
Okay.
Which for some people might be more easy to understand, right? I mean...
Yeah. Some of them can be mind-boggling for the newbies.
Well, you guys even playing Dungeons & Dragons with me, you were like, what the fuck? Like I can do
anything. That's probably the most simple, like one of the most simple things you can do, really, because you're just talking to a certain extent.
Yeah. But complex because people have to give all the data. Because remember, like you guys walked in that door and you were like, am I on the left or am I on the right? Those kind of things where a miniatures game or a board game is not going to have that because you're going to look down. But it also, I think when I look at miniatures, it draws me out of the experience for whatever reason.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that confused me about D&D was how do I know things that my character can't know, but I know them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Yeah.
That's like a judge saying something in front of a jury, then saying, "Oh no, disregard that." They know it; it's in there.
Exactly.
So confusing.
Or like you're on Google, you just looked up how broadswords were made, and your character's like, "I don't know how to make sword," and you're like, "But I do."
Yeah, so exactly.
how do I translate the lack of understanding?
You've got to be multiple personality disorder.
Yeah, you do. Which is probably why you guys were so good at it for starting players.
Probably.
Bunch of crazy people.
Someone, Plague Souls said, "Have you ever played Munchkin?" I love Munchkin.
Munchkin's awesome.
Munchkin. I didn't even realize you could actually buy it physically until I saw it in my local store.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I mean that's how
I forgot. I forgot tabletop is obviously things that are physical put onto tabletop. But I love Munchkin. The Marvel one I loved as well.
I like the Marvel one. I know I saw some of you guys in chat and people weren't happy with the Marvel one, and I actually have to say I personally like the Marvel one better. I don't know why.
Some of them were confused because I think we used the Marvel one with an original deck or something like that.
Marvel and
some
vampires
of the terms didn't match up. Some of the terms didn't match up, and everyone was like, "Well, we don't know what to do."
Yeah. That is Munchkin Cthulhu is really fun. Feels by the Foot says, and that's Munchkin Cthulhu's awesome. All the Munchkin games are good, but I do have to say I can't play them many times in a row. Like I can play 2 or 3 games of Munchkin, and then my favorite game, there's 2 of my favorite board games of all time. Legendary, which is like Marvel or DC. It's a huge board game based in those game worlds, and you have your characters, you have your Wolverines and shit like that. And then DC Comic or DC Card Builder. DC Card Deck Builder game is what it's called. It's a terrible name, but it's one of the best card deck building kind of games I've ever played. And I like knowing who the character is. I like being Oliver Queen. Like, because I know, like, I can sort of get into that, and I think with Munchkin, it's just like you're a Munchkin, and it sometimes it doesn't, it doesn't really pay off for me. Plague
Yeah.
Souls says he worked at a warehouse for Steve Jackson Games. Very cool. Wait, somebody's saying I remember Munchkin on the Philips G7000 Magnavox Odyssey.
Really?
Jesus,
I
how
don't
long?
know.
That's an old gameplay system, like a Atari 2600 kind of thing. I'm trying to remember how fucking
I'm
old
too
Munchkin.
young.
Yeah, dude, I may be, because that's.
Wait, I thought Munchkin came out like in the last not a few years, but within
decade,
the 10
maybe.
years.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead and explain that more, Homer. Awesome.
Munchkin was released in 2013. So how the fuck?
You know what?
Confused right now.
You know what it might be? Oh, it was a Pac-Man clone he just posted. So the name Munchkin was used, but
we're not talking about the same Munchkin. Okay.
Yeah, because I was
that confused me.
I was like, holy shit, what?
Unless he was using a Philips in 2013 and it got ported or something.
How the fuck do you think Tabletop Simulator's legal, dude?
I don't know. I don't know what. How have Hasbro, not even Hasbro, just on their own, said something?
Yeah, Warhammer. Games Workshop is big on suing people, and
no one's even touched on that. I don't understand.
I've actually not. I didn't buy it originally because I thought it was going to be, kicked off Steam when it first came out. Because I was like, there's D&D games in there now. Where with full miniatures, there's all this crazy stuff. There's sound effects you can do, all this shit. And I remember when I first saw, I think it was HeroScape, and then a game, Space Marine from Games Workshop. I'm like, oh, well, they're done. There's no way they can. That's not legal, obviously. And it still keeps plugging away. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'd like to know the legalities, because that game's $15, right? And that it's like $9 or $15.
Yeah, it's really cheap. Yeah.
Oh, if anybody doesn't understand what we're talking about, Tabletop Simulator basically is a program on Steam that you can get, and then people have taken their real games and they've used cameras and taken pictures and cleaned up the items, so like their card games, miniatures games, and then uploaded them as sets, and so you can actually play those in Tabletop Simulator, including Munchkin. And the weird thing is the cards don't look fake. Like, whatever they're using to scan in the card, most likely a scanner, whatever they're using, though, is high tech, because some of the cards look, like they were original digital assets versus somebody's picture at their house. What are you reading, TikTok? Reading the comments?
Yeah, I was having a look around.
So, we're going to go to a random topic from the random topic generator.
Oh, yes.
Here we go. If you could build a themed hotel, what would the theme be?
That's such a good question.
Oh, man.
That's actually such a good question. So random.
Dude, mine would be... No, that'd scare the shit out of people.
I just feel like everything we're going to say has already been done in Japan.
No shit, right? Because do you know what I was going to say? An underwater shark-themed hotel. But then I was like...
I think I've seen that, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there is an underwater hotel, for sure. There's absolutely...
you can see all the... There's like glass, and you can see all the fish swimming around. Nah, not for me.
Not for me either. I keep thinking of like movies where the glass breaks. I'll fucking, first thing is a glass breaks, shark comes in, bites me, and then fucking an octopus somehow steals my eyes. So...
I do a Haunting of House Hill themed hotel.
Hey, moving on to that, watching shows on Netflix shows you like... You love it, right?
It's one of the best shows I've seen in the last forever. It's the best TV horror show ever made, I'd say.
Why would you say that? Give me an example of why you think
the pacing in horror shows is always bad. This has got the perfect pacing. It's just so well done. Like the scares, by the end of the last episode, you're not like, oh god, more of these same scares. The scares are psychological mixed with jump, and they're just so well done. The characters, I loved all the characters. I like the story, it kept me intrigued.
What do you mean by the pacing? So give me an example of a bad game, I guess, and then a game where
Game?
A TV show where you liked the pacing.
Bad pacing. Walking Dead, latest few series, I'd say the pacing's awful. It's just, I don't know if it's pacing that's awful actually in Walking Dead. Yeah, I'd say it's just slow. Nothing happens for ages, and then all of a sudden in the last episode, something amazing will happen. So you watch the next one, and then it's another 20 episodes of boredom. So nothing. But this is from beginning to end. There's something always interesting happening.
Except for episode 2. Except for episode 2.
Except for episode 2. But in hindsight, I appreciate that episode now because of the story it told for later episodes.
So, because I remember you and I were talking, I think I was through season or episode 1, and we were talking about it, and you're like, well, I'm going to go watch it. And then the next thing I knew, you're like, dude, I'm like 5 episodes in. But you were not happy about episode 2 at all.
No, I thought that's going to be it for me. But then it's my favorite horror TV show of all. It's not that it's my favorite horror TV show. I just don't think there's ever been a good one. Right. So it's the best by default of not having any competition. But then as a show on its own, it's fantastic. So,
did you ever see the websites that talk about the hidden ghosts in different episodes?
I watched about 4 videos. Watch the videos where they spot them and tell you. And some of them aren't even hidden ghosts. It's just a black circle they've said is a ghost. Some of them.
Oh, I see. It's funny because Fringe does that. In Fringe, there's a certain group of people that is in every episode. There's one of them, and you can find them. Sometimes they're very easy to see. They're called the Watchers, and they didn't even tell anybody until like the 2nd season that these guys were in every episode, and then everybody went back and started watching. And that's one of the things I like so much about Fringe is trying to figure out. I like the hidden stuff. I think the idea of them putting hidden ghosts in, some are real, some are people's fanciful ideas of a curtain being a ghost. But the fact that they're in there, I think, is very cool.
They should have done that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Every scene should have Chloe Bennett somewhere hidden, even if she's not in the scene. I would spot the Chloe.
Even if she's not in the show. In any show, just Chloe Bennett.
Yeah, any show, just Chloe Bennett. And you have to look for them because she could be nude in one of them, and you don't know. And you just have to.
And you got to check. You definitely want to look for that. Overall, would you say then that if they did a season 2, would you actually want to watch it though?
I don't want to go into spoiler territory because it potentially could by saying if I'd want a season 2 for the reasons I'd want it. Well, because it might give away the ending. I would watch a season 2 though, yeah.
You would watch a season 2.
I would watch it.
What if season 2 didn't involve the same family?
Well, that's what I was meaning.
I know
if it is or not. They've confirmed.
I know the ending. I read it.
Yeah. So, okay. But
what I'm asking you is, what would you want to see? Would you want to see them do the same kind of thing, a haunted house, or would you want to see them do something different, almost like the Gothic series?
It's gonna. They've confirmed it's gonna be it's gonna be like American Horror Story in terms of anthology of different characters and stories every time. But I don't know if I wanted to. It couldn't. I don't know. It depends because American Horror Story did it really well for 2 and 3 seasons, and then it got really bad.
Did you hear that this last season is good?
Yeah, because Jessica Lange's back in it. That's all I need to know. So I'm watching it.
Jessica Lange's fucking awesome.
But season 1 of American Horror Story is the closest TV show to I can think of to Haunting of House Hill. So if you like American Horror Story season 1, I think you'd like Haunting of House Hill. That's my second favorite horror show.
Is it Haunting of House Hill or Haunting of Hill House?
Haunting of something House Hill House something.
There's Hill House and Haunting in there. There's 3 H's. Triple H, the wrestler, shows up as a ghost. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Haunting of Hill House.
Haunting of Hill House. I'm surprised a bunch of people weren't in chat just like, what the fuck? Takedown's wrong. When it comes to shows, I will say that horror shows, I have a hard time being scared. So it's difficult for me to watch.
Same. I don't get scared by any sort of horror film, horror TV show usually. Games, yes, but not anything else.
Yeah, I wonder why this one worked out for you so well. Like it'd be interesting to break it down to have you figure out like what it was about this particular show that creeped you out even if it didn't scare you, but creeped you out, I mean,
it's because it was slow. It was slow in terms of its scares. It wasn't bombarding you, so you didn't get used to it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like in the first Outlast game or Alien Isolation, by the time you get to the middle to the end, you're not scared because you know what's happening. You know the alien's gonna jump out at some point.
Yeah, there's.
Although in Alien Isolation, I never went in the vents ever because I was scared.
Oh, gotcha. Would you say that? So you're not a huge fan of the Gothic series now, except you might watch this next one. You liked.
I've seen all of them apart from 6 and 7.
Okay, gotcha. And you say 1, 2, and 3 are good, and then they sort of go to shit?
1 is amazing. 2 is one of the greatest seasons of a TV show of all time, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people think 2's the best.
Why?
And then 3, it's got the best story. It's got the best characters. Have you seen any of them? Okay.
They didn't.
I think you'd like season 1 and 2. I think you would.
I think I would probably 100%. Like the show a lot. You and I overlap tremendously on that stuff. But I think for me, I just have a hard time keeping my interest. Like even with the Haunting show, like I watched 1 or 2 episodes and then you were already past me, and I couldn't be like fucked to really turn it back on. Like I don't know why. There's Penny Dreadful as well, which is coming back as an anthology for season 2, or not season 2. It'd be season 4 or 5. Penny Dreadful's coming back, and that to me looks interesting. I liked Penny Dreadful, at least the first season of that. I think it was.
I never saw that.
It was, it was. But the thing is, it wasn't really like Haunting, which is scary. I mean, Haunting, like for example, I know you didn't find this part creepy, but I did find it creepy when the little girl's laying down in the first episode on the couch, and then it pans up and you see the hair of one of the ghosts, and she's like staring. Yeah. She's like with her big black eyes, and she's staring at the kid, and the kid's just like looking up. And
yeah, you need to finish that series, because if you like moments like that, I really want you to finish it so we can.
Yeah, I got to turn.
If you finish that, I'll watch Fringe.
You're going to watch Fringe regardless. What was the other one? Because every time I see a show, I'm like, this is the best show and you need to watch it. Fringe and then
Sons of Anarchy and Fringe.
Sons of Anarchy. It's so funny because every time I talk to you, I'm like, this is the best show. No, this is the best show. This is the best show. You need to watch it.
2 of the longest shows probably that I can imagine that I have to watch both of.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least it's not Lost, right? Lost is like 7, 8, 9 seasons or something.
Yeah, I never watched that. I never watched it. Never wanted to.
I did not want to watch it, and then started watching it. Was actually quite impressed. Actually liked. I don't like J.J. Abrams though. Overall,
no, same. I've said that many times. I think in Discord.
Yeah, he I know that he has this idea that he calls mystery box, which is to leave like 15 mysteries and then answer only 4 or 5. And I'm okay with that once or twice, but it's like Shyamalan. What's his name? M. Night Shyamalan. He does the same thing where they repeat.
Oh yeah.
It feels like every movie is the movie. Like every one of them can just be, switched over to a different name and a different theme. It's like Monopoly Fallout. Shyamalan. It's like it's still Fallout. So
M. Night Shyamalan did a film that I loved. It's one of my favorite films I watched last year called The Visit. I don't know if you've seen it.
The Visit. No, I thought you were going to say Last really Airbender, because he did Last Airbender too.
No, I'm not a fan of that series. But no, The Visit was really genuinely creepy, and it's one of the best stories, I think. Sleeves in a chat.
I saw it. No, I saw The Visit. I didn't know that was M. Night. I saw The Visit. I know that.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
I like the story more than anything. I like the twist.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was pretty enjoyable overall. But
it was predictable as fuck. But
I think that's the thing, is like he went the opposite way. He tries to be unpredictable in the prior movies, and then this one comes up, and it was like 1, 2, 3, I guess.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It was, and I would watch it again. But it doesn't drag me back like It, for example, the original Stephen King's It with Tim Curry as Pennywise.
Oh God,
I've watched that, hundreds of times.
That is a good comedy, though. That is, to be fair.
Yeah. I know you're not a big fan. Well, what about the movie, the new one? Did you like the new?
Oh, so good. Have you seen that one as well? Because that was so good.
Yeah, but did you see the old one?
Yeah.
And you didn't like the old one?
No, because I didn't see it when it came out. When it was probably.
Oh yeah.
I saw it 20 years later when Tim Curry looks like an absolute mental patient.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there like.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see
like The Exorcist. I watched The Exorcist last year for the first time, and I just thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, well,
hilariously bad.
The Exorcist is one of those movies that shows you that the time it's released matters many times than the content that a movie has. And The Exorcist, it was released at a time when no one knew anything about that kind of stuff, and it was all sort of kept. People believed in that stuff a little bit more as well, and that shit was crazy to those. But now when you look at it, you're just like, what? Well, not only that, but some of the shit that like happens isn't even as scary as Haunting on Hill House or Hill Bill
No.
Haunting House or whatever the fuck.
I mean, some of the things they made that 12-year-old girl do, that's scarier than the actual film itself.
Yeah, you mean Blair
with the crucifix, so like making her do that at 12 and saying some of the things she said to her mum in the film, like Jesus. No wonder she was messed up after.
Yeah,
that's scarier than anything they did in that film.
Speaking of films or shows you didn't like and you tease relentlessly, Stranger Things, right?
I like Stranger Things.
Oh, I thought it was Stranger Things that you weren't a fan of. It must have been somebody else in Discord. I really liked that.
I tease you about other shows, but not that one.
Yeah.
What are some of the shows that you really like that I tease you about? I can't think of it.
Well, I mean, I like Gotham, and you hate Gotham. But that's the only one.
Yeah, that's the only one.
There's not. Yeah, that's the one you and I always argue about. And then Arrow.
It's the one you've got back. Yeah, Arrow's turned around.
Now you think it's turned around, and I liked it all the way through. But I can see why somebody would dislike those for sure. Well, the one thing that I loved when you were talking about Gotham is you were talking about, how small Bruce Wayne is, and then he's going to be Batman. And it does look funny, regardless of how you...
Yeah. They should have made Alfred Batman, because Alfred in that show is a badass.
Alfred's a bat... What's the actor's name? You know the actor's name.
Sean... Oh, he's English. Sean something. No, is it Sean? I don't know. Sleeve's going to say it any second in the chat. I know it.
I really did like...
Sean Pertwee.
Yeah, I did like that actor better than Michael Caine. I just
they are
playing
two totally different versions of him.
Okay, so to be fair, then I don't like the version in the Nolan movies. I guess
I don't like the Nolan movies. Full stop.
You don't like them at all?
I don't like any of them. I think the third one is an absolute joke.
Yeah, the third one is terrible.
Like, I thought the first one was one of the most boring films I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
The second one, the only thing I like was Joker. I don't like Christian Bale as Batman. The voice, the skinny little body.
Swear to me.
And he's got he basically he put on like 5 pounds from The Machinist and then played Batman. That's how I see him. He's so skinny in that.
Well, wait. You're saying you like the Ben back fat look?
I like Ben Affleck, man. He looks like he's 260 pounds, like Batman's supposed to be. 6'2", 260 pounds.
Oh, you like the bigger, brawling Batman.
Yeah, because he's meant to be like 260 pounds and 6'2" or 6'4", so he's meant to be a big fucker.
Yeah. Well, and to be brutally honest, like back fat did a pretty good job of getting huge for that movie. I thought, obviously, it's not natural, but he fucking showed up. And
he's no Dwayne Johnson.
He's no Dwayne Johnson. Eating 800 pancakes, all natural, only getting 3 tit surgeries to get rid of the bitch tit. But I don't know. I didn't mind Christian Bale as Batman, but the thing that happens in Batman movies is since Bruce Wayne is the major character usually, I always base the movies on how much I like the Bruce Wayne. And this is going to sound crazy because everybody disagrees with me, but I like Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne. He's swarmy.
Yeah.
And I liked Michael Keaton's Batman much better than his Bruce Wayne. To me, Bruce Wayne is the entire reason I'm watching those shows, because there's a dichotomy. He's doing normal shit. He's confined, but he's got money. He's got, and he's well known. And then you have the other side, which is Batman. But it doesn't show really when you look at most Batman movies, aside from the last one, Batman isn't in them as much. It's Bruce Wayne, and it's all of the shit that goes on. Is there any character love interest that you liked? Because I did not like any of the love interests from the new movies. In Batman's love interests.
But first of all, I loved Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. I don't know if you agree. I thought he was good because he was smarmy and creepy and a bit of... I thought he did a very good job.
Yep.
But love interest wise, who have we got?
Nicole Kidman, Basinger from the first 2.
Oh, we're talking about... I've forgotten all of them.
Yeah. Because to me, Nicole Kidman, man. Nicole Kidman is... If you watch that movie, you should watch the movie again, bro, because... Nicole Kidman is messed up fucking mentally in that movie. If you watch the movie, she's like attracted to bats, and it's creepy. Like now when you watch it, you're all, what the fuck were they doing with this show? And to me, she shows up this one time on the roof where Batman's signal is, and all she has on is a fucking nightie. And you're just like, what the fuck? How did she get on top of the roof of, what is it? That's at the Gotham Police Station, right?
I don't even remember what film she was in. I do not remember.
She was in 2 with Val Kilmer.
I do not remember that. Who was the villain? Was it Jim Carrey? Or was it Two-Face?
Yeah, it was Two-Face and Jim Carrey. It was the duels. It was where they had the two.
Oh, okay. That's when they went really over the top in terms of their
not as bad as Batman and Robin. Not as bad as Batman and Robin, but close.
I like that film though. I like that film.
You like Batman and Robin with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I love Arnie as Freeze. It's the greatest thing in the world. I love the Bane. I also think Uma Thurman in that film is really good.
Yeah, Uma Thurman, I think I'm not a fan of hers. Overall, what I mean is when I say I'm not a fan is I don't like look at her and go, man, I want to see a movie she's in. I actually thought she did a creepy job because Poison Ivy's creepy. I mean, if you look at her character, she's creepy as fuck. And yeah, you're right. I would agree.
Every Poison Ivy's been hot as well, I think. Like her.
The one from
Gotham.
Oh,
not the one after she ages.
Yeah, of course. We're not talking about the fucking 9-year-old, but
yeah, she's not hot. Well, she's not hot or hot. She's nothing anyway.
Did you? And you saw also that they replaced her. They changed her again. So she's yeah. So they basically said that for the last 2 seasons they're going to change her because she metamorphoses twice from the little girl to the hot redhead to a different character. And,
is she hot the third time?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
she's got the sexuality, I think, is so that people, know
I
what
need
we're
to
talking
see what
about.
she looks like.
She's got that sexuality that I think pays off for Poison Ivy, because Poison Ivy's always, I mean, she's supposed to be seductive to men, right? Like, that's her entire thing, is that she gets close to a guy so she can kiss him, and she can put him under her power. So Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman. Wasn't it? I thought that Catwoman character was terrible overall.
Oh, the one who got licked by cats and became Catwoman.
Yeah, fell off.
That's literally how she became it. Yeah,
got pushed out of a window, gets licked by a cat, and is magically
becomes Catwoman.
Catwoman. Yeah,
so stupid.
Yeah, it is. It is. They're all dumb though. I mean, like a character will get doused in radioactive chemicals, and they'll come out as what's his name, Solomon Grundy in Gotham, which I know you hated because you were like, all they did was paint him white.
He's the worst. That's so bad.
I don't mind the character, but I thought that was done really well. Did you look?
Yeah, she's hot. She's like hot to hot to hot. That's consistent.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about those characters is they try to sort of show that sexuality can pull out, like that sort of a thing that Bruce Wayne is in some strange way weak about, but they've never done a good job of explaining it.
Did they age her? Because this girl looks younger than the other one.
They didn't pretend that at all. They didn't age her or de-age her. They're just like, she changed again.
I can't remember why she changed, to be honest.
No, so the first time as a little girl, she falls in the water and then like transforms, and they don't really go out of their way to explain the transformation in Gotham, which is fine with me. Halle Berry as Catwoman, no plagues, no.
No, she's hot as fuck, but she's not Catwoman. Sorry.
I think with Catwoman, Poison Ivy, you have to have. So with Batman, what Takedown was saying is you want a big, huge, herking Batman. Like, that makes sense.
Want a big bastard.
With Catwoman, with Poison Ivy, you want like sexuality to the point to where like that's sort of their weapon. And then I think that's why I've never, other than Nicole Kidman, never liked his love interest, because she's boring all the time. Because you always have the female character whose sexuality or control or power is off the charts, and then you've got Vicky Vale, who's a fucking news reporter, is just boring as fuck as a character in the shows, boring as fuck in the shows, and it's hard to be interested. Like, why would you care? The only reason I like Nicole Kidman is because she was nuts, and I was like, maybe that's my thing, but I was all, okay, I can dig that.
That's why I like Affleck's Batman. He's got no love interest in those 2 films.
Yeah, he doesn't really at all. He flirts with Superwoman.
He flirts with Wonder Woman, which who wouldn't?
Or Wonder Woman, sorry. I will say, I think that there's a big bonus for the Ben Affleck's Batman that none of the other movies have done well. All the movies cover his birth, right? Like, this is why Batman was created, blah, 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 blah. This is how he was created. But they never really give you a solid example other than him fighting crime. Ben Affleck, there's one particular scene at the starting of the movie when his building is collapsing and everybody else is running away and he's running into it, like at full force to try to find his friends. And it shows that, like bravery in the midst of a terrible moment that Batman in the movies, they don't really cover that often. They don't really show, they just go, he's fighting bad guys. As a matter of fact, Gotham does it better. Even though you may not like Gotham, I actually think Gotham tells Bruce Wayne's story a little bit better. Maybe it's because it's slower. But in the movies, every time, it's just like, it's Batman, his parents died. and
Yeah.
and he's fighting bad guys. And in the Ben Affleck one, which I'm not a fan of those movies, it showed this one moment where he's just barreling into the destruction and everybody else is running away, that you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, I get that now. I understand where that character's coming from.
Oh, you mean at the beginning of Batman vs Superman, where he's in the city?
Yeah, because his best friend is in the building on the phone, and he's like, he hangs up his phone, gets out of his car, and the dust comes, and he's sprinting full speed into the destruction, and you just see people, like everyone, running away. And I was like,
yeah.
And that's the problem with Superman. They never did it with Superman either. They never showed like a more subtle way of the character being Superman. It was just like, boom, he shows up and he's strong.
I don't think they've ever done that with Superman. He's such a two-dimensional character. That's why I don't like him.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. Well, you didn't watch the Reeves ones though, right? That would be way before your time.
I probably saw them after, years later.
Because I would say number 2 does a pretty good job because it shows him scared. He gets his ass kicked by Zod. In fact, Superman 2, I think, is 10 times better than, any other Superman. And they actually show him absolutely terrified, which is weird. In fact, it's hard to know if they even stated, they had to say later, they were showing that because people thought it was a ploy, that Superman was pretending to be scared. And they were like, no, he actually was frightened of ththese guys. Like, he legitimately knew they were strong as a team against him. Because there were 3 other, guys from the same place. The new movies, unfortunately, with all the problems, we got Aquaman, right? And then what's coming after that? Because they canceled some.
Are we talking Marvel and DC or just DC?
Either one. Yeah. Are you looking
Infinity
forward to any of them?
comes. Infinity War Part 2 in February. I can't remember. Somewhere. I'm looking forward to that big time. I love that film. Karak does not. I can sense it.
No, but I also thought I thought Black Panther was fucking atrocious. So
I like that one.
It was the slowest fucking superhero movie in the universe.
Karak's a racist.
Yeah, actually, I got called. It's funny. It's funny you mention that. Even though it's not funny at the same time, I did get called a racist because I went on Twitter and I hadn't looked at what people said because I don't really give a fuck. Like, I don't usually read Twitter. I post something, and I posted that I was like, Black Panther is one of the most boring superhero movies I've ever seen in my life. They literally go nowhere. Like, in the entire movie, he has 5 vision quests, and they never explain what happens. He just shows up and he's stronger. And you're like, what the fuck? It's terrible. But, man, people were just pissy. Just pissy. That Swift Turtle says Black Panther was better than NyQuil for me. Yeah.
I'm assuming that's a sleepy drug.
Yeah, NyQuil's the one that, puts babies to sleep and shit. Well, not to sleep like a dog. I'm saying to go to bed by, not be dead.
It's not World War II. We're not putting babies to sleep.
Here's the thing. Why the fuck did you like The Last Avengers? Like, tell me what was good about that movie.
Because Black Panther was in it, and I'm not racist.
Tell me a real reason.
I just like the epic scale of it. Like, it's the coming together of every story they've told. I just think it's so epic. I loved Thanos in it. I like the fact that they were brave in... No, they weren't brave, actually. I was,
But, dude, Thanos, the only reason he's doing everything is because the dude can't figure out to use the fucking gauntlet to make some food. Like, the entire reason is he's like, well, we're going to starve at some point in the future, so I'm killing everybody. First of all, guess what? You're not stopping them from fucking. So they're going to breed right back to the same number at some point in the future.
So then he might do it again. Maybe that's his thinking. He keep doing it.
I don't know. I thought he was one of the worst characters I've ever seen in a movie.
No superheroes got good motivation. No supervillains ever got good motivation. It's always bollocks.
So yeah, it's true, right? Like, Bane's is terrible in the Nolan Batman movies.
Oh, like, god, that doesn't exist. Bane is so bad.
So with this one, you got Thanos. We won't say much more other than basically, he's just scared that people are gonna eat too much. And then you have Joker, which I thought was terrible. I don't think Heath Ledger's a good actor.
I thought you were saying Joker's in Infinity War. Jesus.
No, wouldn't that be awesome if Joker showed up?
I wonder if they're ever going to do a proper movie crossover of DC and Marvel. That surely, I don't know if that would work. They could do it if they got the licensing together.
How would you kill, or how would you have one of them lose, though? Because I bet you Disney's like, there's no chance an Avenger's going to lose.
Yeah, true. Maybe you don't have any of them lose. They all hug and make friends at the end, and they're all like a Disney film.
Let's see. What about Doctor Strange? Did you like that?
Yeah, I like Doctor Strange. The baddie again was pretty.
Tilda Swanson, right? Or well, Tilda Swanson and what's his name?
No, Tilda Swanson was always the goodie. She wasn't a baddie.
No, remember you find out at the end. Well, I don't want to spoil it. That she's not though. You find out at the end she did some crazy shit. She
did some bad things in the past, but she wasn't the reason for what was happening.
You mean Mikkelsen or whatever, the actor?
Yeah, he was the one. He was trying to go against her.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, that's it. Mikkelsen.
Triple H, House on Haunted Hill. So I don't know, man. Did you like that movie, Doctor Strange?
Which one?
Overall?
Yeah, I liked it. I like all the movies of Marvel. There's not one I don't really like. I just think they're all fun.
That's impossible. You can't like the first Captain America.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good story. The ending was good. It was sad.
Deathopus says Nickelback is the best villain.
Nickelback's a good band. How dare you?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I mean, so moving on from there, that was a long conversation about DC and Marvel. I apologize for anybody who's not DC and Marvel fans.
I don't apologize.
Okay, I really don't either. Let's go for another random question. Who would play you in a movie about your life? Takedown.
Bruce Jenner. No, not Bruce Jenner. The new version.
Caitlyn.
Oh no! I just dead named her. Oh no! I'm going to hell.
What?
I just dead named Caitlyn Jenner. How dare I?
Oh,
I referred to her old name.
Dead naming's when you use the old name they went by, right?
Yeah.
For me,
no, it wouldn't really be Caitlyn Jenner, by the way. I was joking.
Who would it be?
Were you actually thinking that I was serious, thinking Caitlyn Jenner? Because
I have no clue. I have no clue. I don't even care if you.
I don't want Caitlyn Jenner.
I don't even care if you're joking and that's your answer. If you know.
Who? You go first. I'll think of one.
I actually do like Josh Brolin in everything but as Thanos.
Yeah,
I like him. I liked him in No Country for Old Men, right? That was No Country for Old Men, where
the Western,
slow movie, but I liked him. So, yeah, him, and I love his voice. I've always liked Brolin's voice. Very cool. I've liked him since Goonies too, which was his, one of the first movies.
Oh yeah.
I dig that dude. So I'd want to be played by a strapping Brolin. You got any ideas? Triple H would be Karak, confirmed. Yeah, Triple H after he gained about 50 pounds of solid marbling.
James Spader.
James Spader. Dude, you would be James Spader. I could be William Shatner, and we'd just do Boston Legal, the remake.
We should just do a podcast where we just reenact scenes really badly.
Just over the internet. That would probably not work out.
Oh no, the guy who I'd want to play me is the guy who does John Ralphio.
Oh. Technically, I'm homeless.
It's going to be in my head again now.
If anybody doesn't know what that, if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's Parks and Rec, baby. One of the best shows ever.
Wait, surely the person who plays you should be the guy who plays Nick Offerman, who plays Ron.
Ron Swanson's character, yeah.
You got the same beard.
Okay, here we go. What was the best reason you ever faked being sick?
Oh, was that another one of your random ones?
Yeah.
The best reason? I don't think there's ever been a best one. That's a weird question.
I've got an answer right away. You want me to go first?
Okay. Yeah, you go first.
A chick. And crazy, because that's, for whatever reason, when I was young, that's what I went after. Crazy ass chick. And I was starting to date her and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't feel good, blah, 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 and then ended up jumping in my car, and I had the only version of this car in the next 4 towns. Like, so if I drove through town, it was like me driving the Joker mobile, right? Like, people be like, that's obviously Karak driving his car. And everybody told on me. And at the time, my mom was in the school district. She was actually working at those schools. So it's like I got in a fucking bunch of trouble. Man, it was worth it, though.
Fun times. It's like your Ferris Bueller, basically. That's who you are.
Basically. You don't have any, like, do you even have a reason why you would have called off sick or pretend to be sick at school?
I think once I tried to pretend to be sick for my granddad's funeral because I didn't want to go because I didn't really like him. I think that's all I've got, really.
Oh, gotcha. Well, that's not, I mean, the thing about funerals, right, is they're celebrations of life, and sometimes a person's life, they were a shitheel.
Yeah.
So it's really
it was my great granddad, not my granddad.
And he was just a dick to you?
Oh, he was a dick. He wasn't a dick to me. He was a dick to everyone. He was just a bit of a shit fuck.
Yeah. And I have a hard time, like, you know, you forgive everybody as you move on, what have you, if that's what you believe. But, like, funerals are difficult for me because, number one, I don't like everybody getting together just to feel sad. I find that's exactly the opposite of what should be happening. But second, when they do get together and they're pretending everything was fine and the person was a drug-using alcoholic who beat people, and you're just like, you know, and people think that sounds like 90210 kind of drama. No, every family's got that fuck. Trust me.
Yeah. I think there's a quote, you know, Joan Collins, before she died.
Yeah.
She said, if you hated him when he was alive, you still hate him when he's dead. You don't have to pretend to like them just because they're dead.
Yeah.
If they were a dick when they're alive, they're still a dick when they're dead. You don't have to pretend they were amazing.
Yeah, and I think that funerals, that's one of the things. Again, you know, live and let live and move on, I totally get. But funerals are difficult. If I had luckily my grandparents were awesome. But if they weren't, I mean, it would be, it would have been very hard. I just don't like going and celebrating unhappiness, which, I mean, it's hard not to. You go, everybody's like sad the person's gone. But to me, I'd rather be sad alone. It sounds weird, but I would much rather deal with it on my own at whatever speed I want to than you know, because like my grandma just died, and we didn't really do any huge thing. I wrote something about her and did some stuff, but I did it at my speed. I think that overall that's better. I mean, I still remember when I was a little kid, do you remember cuckoo clocks? Did they?
Yes. Yeah.
And she had a cuckoo clock, and she would play, when I was a little kid, she would rock me to sleep and play the piano and sing to me. And like, that was the memory I've always had of her as I grew up. And also breaking all of her shit. But she was awesome, man. She was awesome.
That sounds like my great grandma. My great grandma used to just randomly play piano, sing to me.
Dude, they were so talented. Like, where's the talent gone, right? Like my grandma.
My great grandma could paint. She could paint like Picasso or whoever. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I swear to shit, especially back then, there was something different. Because my grandma, you know, like, not only could she sing, she could play the piano. She could play every card game known to man. So, like, you'd be like,
same.
King's Corners, and my grandma'd be like, let's fucking tile rummy. I don't know if you've ever played that. I love Rubik. There's another term for it too, a Rubicon or something like that. But it's where you have tiles 1 to 10, and you put them down on the board in front of you, and you're trying to play your hand out. She knew how to cook too. Everything.
Yeah, like every grandma knows how to cook, play all card games. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And I do remember too, she couldn't understand what was going on in technology. So I'd come over to her house and they'd be like, do you want to play? And of course I was coming from the Genesis, right? So I'm like, you know, I would leave the Genesis at my parents' house. I would go there and I'd be like, what are we going to do? And they'd be like, let's play a game. And the game turned out to be croquet. Like the fucking, you know, 1700s version of croquet.
Jesus.
With a little, and of course I use those Warhammers to smash in windows and shit. That's the problem. You never get a kid to go to the grandparents' house because they'll just act up. I would always do crazy shit over there. But yeah, my grandpa built his own forge and built his own tools. Shit, I'd end up just burning my face. Like, their skill base was incredible. I mean,
I think they had a lot of time when they were young during the war, probably to.
Yeah, or they had to learn it, right? They had. Yeah. I mean, I would assume there was a desire for them to know those things. I mean, more tangible skills.
The stuff you're saying about your grandparents, I didn't experience that with my but I did with my great grandparents.
Right. Which age-wise that makes sense. I think.
Yeah, great grand. Well, most people don't. Most people I've spoken to never seem to actually know their great grandparents. I think I was quite lucky because that's your grandma's mum.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So that's quite. They were 95 when they passed, so I was quite lucky to know them. I think
I knew mine. She was old enough that she was in like our personal town's record for being the oldest person, and it was so funny because they also would say things that were so unacceptable, like some of their terms for things, you know, were just like, what the fuck, you know. And the thing about great grandparents versus my grandparents would usually keep it civil when I was in trouble. My great grandma would be like, I'm going to put you over my fucking like legs and I'm going to spank the shit out of you. if you like, she was much more forceful, and we called her Little Grandma because she was so small. She was 5'1", but she, holy fuck, man, never backtalked to her, never backtalked to her. It was just crazy back in the day. Did your grandpas live to an age? I mean, were you like? Did you get to know them well?
I had both great grandparents till I was 15, so that's quite a long time, to be honest. And then I've got a granddad now who's still alive.
No shit.
Just a normal granddad, yeah. He's 83. But then I never knew my grandma on that side because she died when I was minus 15 or some shit. And then my grandpa on the other side died when I was minus 20. And I had a grandma on that side who died like 15 years ago. So yeah, I knew two of them.
Yeah, you were pretty lucky. I mean, especially once you start getting into the 70s, people start dying off, man. Like, yeah,
my family seems to live good long time.
Yeah, it sounds like it. We've got
apart from obviously me and my dad with our fucked kidneys.
Yeah, no shit. But if you keep getting them replaced, you'll last just as long. Is there a lifespan? If people don't know, Takedown's got bad kidneys and he had a replacement recently, so people don't.
Just had a replacement, like a car.
Yeah, just like they took his wheel off, right? They looked at his wheel,
the axis,
and then they were like, let's rub some lube on there and shove another liver in. Or kidney. Sorry.
Kidney.
So, okay. Is there a life does the life expectancy go down if you have your...
Yeah, I think it goes down to about 70, 60.
Gotcha. Probably because also the timing might be wrong for a surgery, too. If it goes bad and you're 65, the idea of going in for a liver transplant seems pretty dangerous just by itself. Like, just overall.
Plus the more kidneys you have, the less your body's going to accept them. If you've had two, it's going to be impossible to find. It's going to be really hard to find a third.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Every time you have an organ put into you that's not yours, you grow antibodies in your system. And so basically you've probably got 100% your blood. It's all yours and your own antibodies. So when you have a transplant the first time, it's easy because they're just going to transfer someone new. But by the second or third, you've got two other people's antibodies. So your own original antibodies are probably down to like 20%. And then you've got so many other people's in you.
Yeah, so it's hard to shove something in and keep it living.
Yeah, so they have to find a kidney that matches you and those two other people, kind of.
Oh, weird.
So it becomes very difficult to give someone a transplant the more they've had.
So the life expectancy goes down by like, 5-10 years? That's not too bad.
Yeah, it can go down more. It depends if you get a transplant.
And let's be honest, anybody over 60 is not worth it anyway, right? Like 60, once you age 60, it's game over.
Well, you better make those last 10 years count, karak.
Yeah, exactly. 10 plus another 10 plus another 5, but something like that. It does seem like you're really bad at math, number one. But number two, it does seem like everybody I know is sick or injured. We talked about this, remember, yesterday? Yeah. We were like, because in our Discord, like, I'm like, man, my back's fucked up. I still have a place that hurts because of where I was stabbed. He's fucking got a bad, kidney. Somebody else was in there with a bad back. And we've got
an alcoholic. We've got an alcoholic and a drug user.
I'm just joking. I'm not
Sleeve.
an alcoholic.
Sleeve.
It's the sleeve.
Sleeve, alcoholic.
The best thing about Sleeve is those late night conversations where it's like 4 a.m. and the words start doing that thing where they're like, you're all...
I was actually asking Sleeve the other day where he gets his stuff from because I wanted some, so he's useful for that. As we both live in the same country.
Yeah, but you're not near each other, right?
No, but he can probably send it to me in the post. I don't know if that's legal.
Oh, gotcha. All that shit's legal. Think that's legal here. Melgo says, "Yo, karak, do you plan on doing a walk in the walk? Recent games, yes. Chotaro says, karak, will you do a walk in the walk for RD2? Yes. And thank you very much for subscribing, guys. Thanks for the bits, too.
Will you do a walk in the walk for Overkill's Walking Dead? That's what I want to know.
The most important question is, Gene Rain. Will there be a walk in the walk for Gene Rain?
You should do a walk in the walk of all the bad games and analyze why they're actually bad.
No. So you can do that, dude, but you become so cynical. There's a difference between criticism and cynicalness. And people can get mad at me because they'll be like, why did he like this game, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, because the fun factor matters. Is a game bad but also fun? That can matter. And maybe it's not worth $60. Maybe it's worth 50%. Maybe it's worth a deep sale, something like that. But if you lodge into that shit and you mire yourself in that criticism, dude, you're going to come out the other side unhappy. Like even Roger Ebert and fucking, what's his name? Siskel and Ebert, both of them admitted that like being movie critics, really, they still loved movies, but it changes the entire way in which you imbibe them. If that's what you're doing. You said it. Remember when you were reviewing games or looking at previewing games, and you even contacted me and you're like, dude, I don't know this, like, I'm starting to dislike this. Like and so to me, a walking the walk is a celebration of awesomeness, not of shittiness, because I'll talk about those in podcasts with you. Like we can do a walking the walk right now about Gene Rain, which is terrible. God, what a bad game.
Wait, it's probably one of my favorite games of all time.
You can fuck off. What's the worst game you've played recently? Don't say it.
Well, of all time, I'd say Alpha Protocol. I refunded that. Not of all time, but in recent memory.
Really, Alpha
Protocol. That was a long time. That game was fucking jank. I couldn't. It was so glitched when it came out. It was so broken. I remember.
It was. That's completely legit.
Oh no! You know what my worst game of all time is? I think everyone in the Discord knows.
No, don't even say it. We're not going to hear Breath of the Wild. Fuck off.
Breath of the Wild. You don't like it either. What are you on about?
Yeah, I didn't love it, but I still understand it's a good game. It's just not for me. It just wasn't
not for anyone. It's for people who don't like good games. That's what it's for.
Wow. And thus ends the podcast with a great resounding roar of hatred towards Takedown. I mean, I can get why people didn't like it. Citizen Sleeve says, I'm sorry, what now? Alpha Protocol rocks was jank, but rocked. Yeah, I mean, I liked Alpha Protocol, but it was janky as fuck. And the people say the same thing to me when I say these bugs impacted my fun factor. If they impact you too much, then it's hard.
Alkaline's Gun, that's a good game.
Alakine's Gun? Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's a good game. That's probably one of my favorite games.
Alakine's Gun almost broke me, dude. It almost broke me because there was a level I couldn't get past and I wanted to do it for the review. And it was like psychologically scarring playing that. That game fucking sucked, man. I don't know how that game got. I don't know how Gene Rain and that game got made, but with Gene Rain, it reminds me of like the Chinese mobile games. So I sort of get why it got made. Like they threw some money at a third-person shooter, and they thought this might work. With Alakine's Gun, someone had to say this is still worth publishing, and to me, that's damning. Well, did you ever play the Samurai? Or no, what's the one? With
Samurai Jack.
With Fury, Nick Fury, the guy who plays Nick Fury. Samuel Jackson, but the one where it's the
Afro Samurai.
Did you ever play number 2?
That's what I was thinking you were going to say.
Oh,
yeah. Number 2 was so much worse than the first.
Number 2 got pulled from the stores. It was so bad. Pulled from the stores.
Number 1 was really good.
Number 1 was not bad, but it certainly. I was just really surprised by how bad number 2 was. Melga 12 says, I agree, Breath of the Wild is really overrated, but to say it's the worst game of all time, I would give it a 7, he says.
All right, it's not the worst game of all time. It's probably in the top 10 of my personal worst games of all time.
I can see why somebody would think that.
The hype I had was so high, and the impact it had was so low that it just smacked me down into...
Do you know what...
But then Deadly Premonition is one of my favorite games, and everyone thinks that's jank, so...
It is, but I can see why. The thing that destroyed me with Zelda, that destroyed my desire to continue, was the degrading weapons.
So basically everything Silver liked about that game was what it was for you.
Yeah, the moment you fucking hit somebody with a paper mache sword and you realize it's only going to last 5 hits, it killed my soul. It was, I don't think it was well done. I don't think that it was planned well. I do feel that that other stuff about the game, it makes sense why people liked it, but that I hated.
You know what would have been nice?
What?
The ability to repair a weapon you really like.
Yes. You can.
And the climbing in the rain as well. Climbing in the rain.
What do you mean? You didn't like it, or you did like it?
No, I didn't. You couldn't climb in the rain. It's ridiculous. You have to wait for a rainy spell to go away before you... And then taking all your armor off when there was thunder. Jesus.
That Swift Turtle just said that. Breath of the Wild made me quit when I couldn't climb in the rain.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Feels by the Foot said, Deadly Premonition was only made better by the saxophone coming in during every serious moment. It's true. Deadly Premonition is one of those games when you get done, you still have no clue what it's about. You're just like...
I still loved it.
Yeah. Well, did you like Alan Wake?
Alan Wake's one of the best Xbox 360 games.
It's awesome. How much time do you have, dude? I didn't realize we've been talking this long.
I've got as long as you need. I've eaten.
So, Alan Wake, man. Yeah, like that game. That game is so fucking good. 2
games I want a sequel for more than any other game: Bully and Alan Wake.
That's why we agree. Yeah, I would say the exact 2. And
more than any game in the industry.
Here's the thing, though. Alan Wake's ending, it does give it the ability to make another one, but I would say it's a little like Hill House kind of thing. Like, Alan Wake, where it ends, I'm not 100% sure it would work if it was Alan Wake again, which then bothers me a little bit. I'm trying to figure out how they would do it.
Maybe a remaster would be a good start just to gauge interest, maybe.
Yeah.
A proper remaster. It looks as good as Red Dead or something.
Yeah, proper remaster. Somebody says Bully is coming, my dude. I'll believe it.
That's the same thing with Bully, though. Like, what do you do with the Bully sequel? Do you play as Jimmy Hopkins still, or
exactly? We talked about that.
What do you do?
We already know Jimmy Hopkins' future because technically he's the main character in Manhunt.
Is he?
Yeah, Billy Hop. If you go look, he is the character from Manhunt, and Rockstar's already hinted that that's his future.
So he's a psychopath who turns into a bigger psychopath.
Pretty much. Now, here's the thing about Bully, though. I would love a remake of that. The reason why is because I feel that the game isn't very. It doesn't play very well right now. Like, I just did that Walking the Walk 6 months ago or what have you, and its controls fucked up, its camera's fucked up. I would love a full remake. Like, that's one of the few games I would love for them to say, okay, we're remaking this. Bully was...
Well, Rockstar don't even have to do it. They can farm it off to someone else if they have to.
Yeah, Bully, the music, with the little triangle, doom, 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 the fucking weird...
Going through with different seasons, so good. Yeah. Oh, going to the fun park and winning the prize for the girl.
I thought my favorite part is when you dress up as the skeleton-faced hooligan, but basically the bad guy from Karate Kid 1. You dressed up in a skeleton suit, and I was just like, this is the shit. And then the pumpkins everywhere, and you could smash pumpkins, and how it changed with each, like you said, like winter, summer, spring, fall, that kind of thing.
So many moments in that game are just fantastic.
Yeah. It's weird, though. It's Rockstar, right?
Such a good game.
Like, they're able
to... It's got the Rockstar... It's got the Rockstar controls, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The stiff Gears of War controls.
Yeah, I would in no way, shape, or form argue about that. I think that those games, though I like them, Arthur controls like a really bad RC car in Red Dead. I mean, I think
they've done that in every game apart from Max Payne 3 isn't really.
No, you're right. Max Payne 3 I think has good control. It's
Max Payne 3 is like it wasn't even made by Rockstar. It's weird.
Yeah. Do I have a front runner for Game of the Year? No. We're trying not to even talk about video games, but that was our plan, was to not even talk about video games. And suddenly, somehow, I brought us back to that.
Do another random question, quick. Get away from it.
Oh, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you on a date?
Oh, is that one of the randoms? I can't work out if it's a random or if it's a patron.
Sorry, it's a. Oh no, it's a random. It's a random.
Okay. I've only been on like 20 dates in my life.
Just because once you go on a date, the chick's immediately in love with you and you date her for a long period of time, or because you don't like going on dates?
It's because I don't like going on dates. It's too pretentious for me. Plus, they never look like their pictures. Yeah, once. No, this is going to sound so shallow. I can't.
No, say it.
I can't say it. It's going to sound so shallow.
Well, you're a shallow person. Say it.
True. Okay, I was on the dating site. You know, all the dating sites. You're big on them. You're always searching. Grindr. You're always looking around for a bit of strange.
Yeah.
I was on POF and there was this really hot girl and she had makeup on and she was wearing really nice clothes and she looked really hot. I met up with her on the date and she was wearing no makeup and baggy like jeans and a tracksuit, and I was just like, and I just said to her, I'm not going to see you again because you didn't look like your pictures, and just that was it. That was really, I felt really bad, but then I didn't want to.
Here's why I don't think that's shallow.
I thought she was lying to me.
Yeah, and
false advertisement.
It would be like when a guy shows a picture or a girl shows a picture of a different weight when they were back in the 1980s and they were svelte, and they're like, "Here's my picture," and then time is caught up with their midsection. I personally believe that, especially on a dating site, if you're selling yourself via your description and your picture, they should be accurate. But that's just
exactly.
that makes sense to me. So
that's why I just go on adult work instead. It's easier.
Let's see. What about me? I'm trying to think. A bad date. I usually only went out on dates with girls I already like sort of knew I liked, and because I'm even as a little kid, I couldn't be fucked with any kind of like wasting time. No, I wasn't going to stop at that.
As a kid, I couldn't get fucked.
No, I couldn't be fucked with wasting any time. So I always checked beforehand if I liked somebody. But I didn't really have anything bad with any dates. Like I'm trying to think of anything that would have even been termed as like a bad situation. It's a question that I can't even answer. I don't think overall I've.
You're obviously such a gentleman that all the girls just love dating you, and there's no problems.
I will say I've never gone on a date with somebody I didn't date for a long time. That's for sure.
Oh really? I've been on like 50 first dates.
No, never. Nope. It's not because there's anything other than I get to know somebody prior to go on a date because I don't want to waste any time, or didn't at the time want to waste any time. So I usually knew them beforehand. Remember, when I grew up, dude, there wasn't personals like what you guys have, right?
Yeah, you had to look in the back of the paper.
We had to look in the back of the paper, beside the like order your own science kit, and then there was like, man seeking female.
You have to send a little postcard with a picture of you.
Preferably has both eyes, and here's a picture of my balls. Here's a black and white sketch of my nuts.
Can you imagine though sending a dick pic through the post because you didn't have phones? That'd be amazing.
A Polaroid.
Polaroid if you put it in the thing and send it.
So, yeah, I don't want to tell that story. I was going to tell a really racy story. Hey, do you have any tattoos?
I do not. My dad's got like 6 in the last year though. So
what the fuck? Your dad?
Why? He's never had a tattoo in his life, and all of a sudden he got like 6 tattoos.
He watched Sons of Anarchy, right? And he's like, tattoo is awesome. Yeah, he's like,
it's because he's got loads of scars over his body from like stuff I've had, as he's had as well.
Oh, okay. And the tattoos.
Because like you can see that there,
the
fissure scar. His is bigger because he's used it more, so he has tattoos there. He has tattoos over his kidney scar.
Oh, gotcha.
And he thinks the same that I do. Like when you get to like 55, 60, 70, why not? I mean, you're not going to regret it because you'll be dead soon.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I also think that might be a better time to get it anyway. Because have you seen somebody who got a tattoo when they're like 18 and then they're 50, and it looks like a stretched out picture of Ernest Borgnine? And you're like, what the fuck? They can look terrifying. UFC though, of all the groups that have terrible tattoos, the UFC fighters have to absolutely take the cake for shit tattoos. They are terrible. Yeah. Terrible. There are people, I think his name is Anthony Pettis. He has his 2 kids on his tits, and I'm telling you, it is, if I were his kids, I would be so mortified. They are the worst.
Their names or their faces?
Their faces, dude. And
portraits.
Yeah, and well, full-on tattoos. But the problem is, as you work out, your chest gets bigger and smaller. It's a growing muscle, and it stretches the tattoo out. And so they look horrifying. It looks like 2 fucking... man, it's bad. Like, if I was his kids, I would be so mad at him. And I get why he did it.
You might as well get your kids' faces tattooed on your sack instead.
Oh,
and you can put funny faces with them.
One of my friends got a tattoo on her ankle and said it was terrifying. Like, how much it hurt.
Yeah.
I think, on the bony parts... I saw somebody get a tattoo on the top of their foot too, or on their. You get tattoos on your back of your hands. That seems like that hurt like a son of a bitch. I don't think I'd ever want to do that. Plague Skill says, "What would be your perfect final meal on planet Earth?" Steak. My perfect meal every day.
Oh,
I don't
have to be.
I don't experiment with food at all. I
really?
No.
You're one of those. I know what I like, and that's all I'm having.
Yeah, steak. And if I can,
then how do you not know if you like something else?
Because I have tried it, and everything I've tried, I've hated. So like curry, really? I think you said you like curry. I could be wrong on this one.
Yeah, I like curry Chinese.
I don't like. I'll eat Chinese food. It's not that I don't like some foods. It's just that a lot of the thing right now is like let's experiment with, all these weird ass different foods from different places. And I've
fusion.
Yeah, and I've just found out that I don't like them.
Is your wife's family from somewhere?
Yeah.
Do they cook China. That sort of China? Do they cook Chinese? Okay.
They do, but you know what? They use the world's worst spice in the universe, which is ginger. There's nothing worse than ginger. I would rather
makes me cringe.
And so, okay, bad first date. Here we go. This is actually a true story, and I forgot all about it. So my wife is like, I'm going to cook you dinner. And at the time, it was pretty keto. So I was like, chicken.
On the first date?
Yeah, first date at her home. We'll say that.
Oh, okay, not for... Yeah, I was going to...
No, so she's like, I'm going to make you dinner. So I go over, and she makes what smells... And I had a cold, but it smelled delicious, right? It was like chicken and all this stuff, and it looked great. We sit down, and it looks like chicken. They're so big, dude. They're so big, they look like chicken bits. I stabbed this thing that looks like chicken, and I bite it, and it is an entire bulb of ginger.
Oh.
And it was, and I hate ginger. It's my most hated thing in the world anyway.
I got chills. But
it was so much. It was like that thing where you bite down, you're like, oh my. And of course, you're there with somebody who was nice enough to make you the meal. I told her though. I was like, I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
I would have been like, what the fuck have you fed me?
Yeah,
like, get the fuck out. This is not getting a second date.
I was pretty open about it. I was like, oh man, this is ginger. I fucking hate ginger. Yeah. So I think we just.
I can't even do ginger biscuits. Oh, ginger biscuits make me want to vomit.
What the fuck is it? What? A what?
What? You never had a ginger? Ginger cookie? You say cookie?
Ginger cookies, yes. And ginger snaps. They're called ginger snaps here.
Wait, what would a biscuit be to you then? Do you have anything that's a biscuit?
Yeah, a biscuit's like an English
chicken
muffin,
and gravy?
An English muffin kind of thing that's really puffy inside. Those are our biscuits. There's no slice, but it's it's almost like a cupcake, but it's cornmeal.
Really? Is that what you have with like chicken and gravy and biscuits?
If we did gravy and biscuits, they're called
So
you can
weird.
Do gravy and biscuits.
Gravy and biscuits.
So what the fuck are you? What's a biscuit to you? A cookie?
Yeah, cookie.
Oh, okay.
Because to us, a cookie is a very specific type of biscuit. So
right, I remember talking about this.
Biscuit, and then you've got hobnobs.
You sound like you're fucking from Hogwarts, man. You're like
hobnobs.
You've
custard
got
creams.
You've got fucking the Slytherin. Yeah, you guys have the weirdest shit. No.
You have custard creams, don't you?
Yeah.
And bourbons.
No, Bobbin sounds like an elf name.
Okay, a bourbon is basically a chocolate custard cream.
Oh, okay. You know what? We may actually even call it that. I don't like custard, so it completely may be like a thing.
It's just chocolate biscuit with chocolate sauce in the middle, it's not custard.
You know what I like, man? I just had them a couple days ago again as Kit Kats. Fucking dig those things.
Oh, have you had the green Kit Kat from Japan? That is
No, what is it though? Isn't it like Yohimbe or whatever the fuck it is?
I don't know what it is, but I'm just happy it's not wasabi.
Oh, dude, wasabi Kit Kat, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have one, right? Like, they give shit to us for like fucking having ding dongs or Twinkies, and then they've got like their wasabi fucking or not wasabi ketchup, but like wasabi gummy bears or something. It's like fuck off.
Wait, which Kit Kat are you talking about?
I just like generic. The 4. Do
you have the chunky?
I don't.
You have a chunky Kit Kat? Oh, it's like one big chocolate bar, and it's called a Kit Kat chunky.
Oh no, we definitely don't have those. Or at least
we get them.
I've never seen that name.
We get them filled with peanut butter as well, and it's a peanut butter version, and it's fucking lovely.
I'm not a big sweets or chocolate fan, but I will say that the one thing that there's 2 things: nerds. The candy nerds.
Don't get them over here.
They're not. I don't even think you'd like them. They're little sugared pebbles, right? And they taste like a flavor like lime or watermelon, what have you.
Okay.
They're very tart. But the other one that I absolutely love is Sour Patch Kids.
They're like Jelly Babies. They're like our equivalent of Jelly Babies.
And they're covered with like sweet and sour powder.
Oh,
that really burning powder. Fucking love those things.
They're quite chewy, aren't they? Not some of them. Yeah, they're chewy, but they're also quite. They're horrible. Ugh.
Yeah, you don't like those at all.
Damn. Well, I don't know how similar they are to Jelly Babies, but Jelly Babies are the devil's creation.
They're probably pretty similar. I think for us, just like they're a little thinner. I think that's the one thing here.
There's some questions up in the middle of the chat as well.
Oh, gotcha.
Let's ignore those. Should we ignore those?
No, go for it. What are they?
Well, Sleeve asked a serious question, then he asked a silly one because he thought it was too serious. So let's see if we want to answer his serious one. What are some of your favourite film scenes and why? And then he goes on about
done talking about movies.
And then he said, "What's your favourite thing on toast?"
Butter.
Wait, just butter on its own?
Whatever the fuck. What else would you put on toast?
Marmalade, jam, Marmite, peanut butter.
Marmite. Okay, this
so
podcast
is
fucking
good.
over. I mean,
do you not like peanut butter on toast?
Sometimes, yeah. I would. I don't know what Marmite is.
See, I can't tell if it's you being American or just you being you. If you don't know what these things are, if you know what I mean.
No. I think they're definitely not big here. Like nowhere near as big. Now we'll get them because you can import anything, or a store will be like, "Look how fancy we are." But really, fancy to me just means shit. So most of the time,
we get Americans imports as well, and it's expensive.
And it probably doesn't taste good to you because you're not accustomed to a lot of the. But we do butter and peanut butter on toast for sure. We do marmalade. I'm not a fan of marmalade at all, and then there's Nutella, which is fucking horrendous.
Oh, it's so good. Hazelnut chocolate.
Oh my god, that's so nastiest. I'd rather
They do a chocolate bar. They do a Nutella chocolate bar now. So good.
It's the easiest way to lose weight would be to just put Nutella all around me. I'd fucking I would starve myself to death. Apple butter.
Marmite though. Marmite.
Kid Zaratha says apple butter's delicious. Apple butter.
I never had that. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I'm about to puke at Nutella, Plague Soul says. Plague Souls and I
are... Oh, no! Is it an English thing, then? Is it not big in America, or is it just you don't like it?
I think a lot of people don't like it here just because you didn't grow up on it. But over time, it's at most stores. You'll see the little white, shitty jar that'll be like Nutella, and there's almost no info on it. It's not like a peanut butter jar, which will be like, some chick going like, eat my peanut butter.
Yeah. Do you have smooth and crunchy peanut butter in America?
Of course,
you get the choice.
Yeah. Okay. We also have jelly and peanut butter together takedown. You ever had that?
Yeah, I can get it from the shop now. They do it over here because it's so big in America. Import.
It's called, one of the brands is called like Swirlers, which just sounds like a really
When you say jelly, do you mean
the jelly is in the peanut butter, so it's like
jelly as in gelatin,
grapes,
or jelly as in
as in grape jelly or strawberry jelly, a jelly made from the fruit.
That's what we call a jam then. Yeah,
a jam, same thing. Yeah, okay. Jelly jam over here. It's sort of.
I love jam on toast. On toast,
raspberry
just on its own.
Raspberry jam. Just a scoop of.
Have you ever had plum conserve? Oh. So good. It's like marmalade, but made from plum.
Oh, I might try that. I like plum, actually. Plum isn't... Yeah. The weird thing that I've found is that when it comes to fruits in particular, or sweets, you guys have obviously stuff because you have different ecology and fucking different plants and shit.
Yeah.
So, like, plum is rarely done in America. Like, in South, it's really big. Like, they'll have plum on chicken. Like, they'll have chicken and, like, a plum sauce. Which doesn't sound that bad to me, to be honest.
That sounds nice.
It does sound a little bit nice, but it just depends on where you are. We're on the West Coast, which is it's like jam, raspberries, blackberries, because they grow here. Whoa, shit.
Well, that's the thing about America. America's so big. In England, everything you get in one place, you get in another place. The country's so small.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
But it's not like, up north we get this. I mean, there's a few things, but it's not really how it's grown. But you can get cherry jam. I love cherry jam.
Cherry jam? Like just cherries?
Yeah, just cherries. It's like strawberry jam made out of cherries. I love that.
Oh, man. I never even heard about that.
But Marmite, you need to try Marmite.
Continue talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll continue talking to myself. Ask questions in the chat because Karak's left me now. Citizen Sleeve. Plum sauce is quite nice, but it can get sickly. Plum sauce or plum jam? Get your nips out, Jesus Christ. Deep fried Mars bars are amazing. I have one of those once a week. So good. I think Karak was saying he really likes deep fried Milky Ways.
Yeah, I used to eat those a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to try deep fried Milky Way. We can't get them over here. We can only get Mars bars.
Mars bars, right? Yeah. Mars bars I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest. They're a little too dark.
Nor am I. They're disgusting. They get stuck to the roof of your mouth.
Gotcha. For me, the reason why I do like... So I'm not a big deep fried fan. It just depends on what it is. The reason why I like those candy bars, in particular like Milky Way and stuff, is because they're soft on the inside. When they're really pillowy, they're very soft on the inside. I like those. Mars bars are not. Mars bars are way harder. And they're bitter almost.
Have you ever? I've never tried peppermint sauce. Supposed to be a British thing. That's a very quiet taste. I don't think I've ever tried peppermint sauce.
No, it doesn't sound terrible depending on what you...
Peppermint sauce. I need to Google this. Because I've had peppercorn sauce.
You mean the peppercorns? Like from...
Yeah, you have it on a steak.
Yeah, right. Oh, there's peppercorn sauce. So it's just like a spicy sauce? It's not sweet?
Yeah, it's just a sauce you put on steak, and it's spicy and quite darkish.
Do you like horseradish?
In a beef sandwich, yes.
Oh, yeah. Man, I love horseradish and
I
steak.
prefer horseradish to mustard.
Oh, so do I. Yeah. Matter of fact,
it depends if it's English or French mustard, I guess.
I haven't eaten mustard in years.
No, nor have I.
Well, and
it's too hot for me. It's too hot.
Horseradish I like because it burns your sinuses, not your mouth, and so you don't lose your sense of taste. Like one of my friends came over and he had his own like hot sauce because we were doing a barbecue. And he just plugged the fucking steak full of hot sauce. And I was like, at some point, all you're doing is tasting whatever the bottle of fucking hot sauce is. You're not really tasting the steak. But with horseradish, the nice thing is you eat it, and the taste is still there. It just and the feeling behind your eyes when it burns, I love that feeling. I have no clue why, but when I take it and it's like, and your sinuses are like, fuck! I love that. Love it.
One day you should be big enough to go onto the hot ones. Have you seen that channel?
Yeah, where he just asks questions and eats them.
Yeah, you should go on that and see if you can get to the max level.
I probably can. I had like I can do pepper or ghost peppers, like a bite of them without like dying.
I couldn't do the lowest level of that show. My spice game.
You couldn't do
weak.
Tapatio, like Tapatio.
I don't think I could do it. I find horseradish is my limit for things that are spicy.
Okay.
And even too much of that makes me want to be sick. So I've got a very, very low threshold.
Yeah. I don't think there's... I mean, I think overall that just means you're tasting the food more, right?
Yeah.
Like
someone said, I sympathize with the poor souls who enjoy Marmite.
Oh, God.
Marmite is so good.
No.
Have you ever tried Marmite?
Terrifying. Yes. One time when I was a kid. Here's the thing.
So good.
Talking about grandparents earlier, my grandparents always had weird foods they liked. And there were two things they liked. They liked Marmite, which is fucking the worst thing in the world, and we'd have to eat it at breakfast. But they also liked a thing called Ponzit. You ever heard of that?
Ponzit? No.
Do you know what angel hair noodles are? The really thin noodles?
Yeah.
So it's like thin noodles with like green peas in it and like chicken base. Oh my fucking God, it was terrifying. And
chicken base,
like what that means, like juice, like chicken broth.
Oh, juice from cooking.
Cooked.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was about it, but my grandmother'd be like, "Let's have fucking breakfast or whatever."
Wait,
and instead of bacon and eggs, it'd be no. It's not. See, that's the thing. They dry out the noodles. So you have the noodles, they have the base, they cook it, and then they pour the sauce out. They pour the water out, and you just have the not dry noodles, but you have the wet noodles. It's almost like chow mein. Or is that not chow mein? Yeah, chow mein. Is that chow mein?
Chow mein. Yeah, chow mein's like, the noodles, isn't it?
It's a little like chow mein, just not good at all. And my grandma would make that, and it was just terrifying. I hated that.
That sounds like something I would actually genuinely really like.
I don't know. You should try it. Homer
I probably would like it.
Homer Ramon says ghost peppers are old hat. Trinidad scorpions are where it's at.
Yeah, ghost peppers are old now. Even on the show, they don't use any sauces with ghost peppers in.
What are they?
They've got a sauce on there which is 1.5 on the skull thingy level. 1.5 million, which is mental.
I think one of the biggest problems with that show, at least what I've seen, because I watch a lot of it, is that they went from an enjoyable show where they ask people questions to just a stunt show where they ask a couple questions and they try to get a person to die. And it's not.
Yeah, that's what I love about it, though.
I liked it much more because I wanted to hear from the people, and I wanted to see them in pain. I love that, but I don't. Yeah. I want them to still be able to function so I can hear what they're answering. And now they cranked up the sauce amount so much that it's pretty boring to me. I
want them to be on the floor in pain.
I watched a different show where it was like that, like him and the British guy who eat the ghost peppers in the back of the horse carriage. Did you ever see that?
No.
They do a video where they eat an entire ghost pepper, and they're in a horse carriage, and they're vomiting in the middle of like New York State Park. You haven't seen that? Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. But I think it's a one-time thing for me. I don't want to.
I love the way we've gone to sauces and peppers. This is amazing. Let's go on to talking about sauces and toast.
Sean Evans is a genuinely talented interviewer, says Swift Turtle.
Oh, yeah, I think he is.
I think he is. I think he is. There was one though that Takedown and I don't think he'll remember this because it was when I first got to know him, and it might not have even just been him alone. It might have been the main Discord, but we were talking about this show, and there was one particular interview he did which was terrible. Like it's almost like he didn't know the person at all. And I remember people were actually asking him that. They were like, did you even know who this was? It might have been a rapper, which maybe makes sense. But somebody showed up and he's like, so it was generic. It was like, so what are you doing right now? You know, it was like you and I talking versus something entertaining and fun. Okay, so
we are pretty entertaining.
Swinging back, I have a question for you. What actor for what superhero role do you think would be the best casting? Or villain? Or villain?
William Dafoe as the Joker has always been the one I go to.
You'd like to see William Dafoe as the Joker?
He's got the mouth for it, let's be honest. He has got the face, he's got the mouth, he's got the long face Joker's got, he's got the big smile, he's got the acting chops.
Look at Boondock Saints. That's basically him as the Joker. Oh, you haven't seen Boondock Saints, have you?
I watched the trailer yesterday, and I was going to watch it sometime this week with my dad.
So, in a strange way, Boondock Saints, his character in that has the overreactions and the emotions of a Joker. I can see that. I can certainly see William Dafoe as that. I'm trying to think. Necro says, "I love Boondock Saints." Yeah, it's an awesome show. John Hamm as Bruce Wayne.
No, he's too charismatic. Not too charismatic. He's too full of himself and smarmy looking. I don't think I couldn't see that personally.
Did you see The Town with Ben Affleck? And John Hamm was the cop coming after the robbers.
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Great movie, but I got to agree. He was supposed to play a serious, normal character, but because it was him, he came across like what's that show that he was in?
Mad Men?
Yeah, he came across like I don't know if he can get away, with his face. His face looks a certain way, right? He's swarmy. He's Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer always came across as swarmy. He always had the one edge of his mouth curled up just a bit, like some dude always hitting on chicks. Like he was always like, hey. And it didn't matter what he was doing. Even if he was in the middle of a gun battle, he always had this weird, and it works in some movies.
John Hamm's got that silly, goofy face. Yeah. I couldn't take him seriously.
It's sort of with the giant butt cheek chin.
I couldn't take him seriously as an action hero at all.
So I'm trying to think of so what I would like them to do is go and get characters that haven't been covered that much in movies and take a bad guy or a hero. I want to see Mysterious Stranger. Phantom Stranger, sorry. He's a DC character. I think DC.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think of who would play. I would have liked to have seen, I'll say this, somebody I think that they cast poorly, and I know that this is not what everybody agrees with. I'm not a big fan of the guy who played Zod in the new Superman. I know a lot
as an actor or him playing that role?
I'm going to be honest, both. I
love Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon, thank you. I know
I love him.
It's a thing for people to like him, and I think I get why. But I just don't think. I think Zod turned me off of him. Like it just that.
He didn't play. That wasn't a good role for him.
Yeah, that happens, right? Where a show can like ruin you.
Did you see him in Boardwalk Empire though?
Boardwalk Empire is with with Buscemi, right?
Steve Buscemi, yeah. Michael Shannon's first proper thing. He was brilliant in that.
I watched a couple episodes, but I don't.
He was good.
Do you know who I do like is the guy who was married to Kate Beckinsale for a while?
Michael Sheen?
Yeah, I like him a lot.
He's a good actor. He's a very good actor.
I would love to see him take on something, because I liked him in Underworld. That's actually how I found him, was Underworld of all things, the vampire movies. And he was in it at the time, and fucking I dug that guy a lot.
I think his greatest role was when he was in Kate Beckinsale, though, to be honest.
He probably liked that role the best.
That's the best role he ever did.
That is
I need 5 minutes. I need 5 minutes.
That is so funny too, because he's sort of a goofy looking dude. And
oh god, yeah, it doesn't seem like he'd be able to get her.
He was with her for many years, and then Rachel McAdams. And I remember just being like, when I found out he was with Rachel McAdams, I was like, the fuck? What? Are people really nearsighted? Like, what's happening?
He wasn't even that famous when he got with Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, he wasn't, but he is a good,
Oh, he's a brilliant actor, but I don't care how good of an actor you are, you don't deserve Kate Beckinsale.
Supposedly, he's incredibly nice. I will say Tron Legacy. That's what I was just going to say. Sleeve just mentioned him. He's in Tron Legacy, and he's one of the best parts of that show, which I actually like that movie anyway. But I know most people didn't, but I thought he did a really good job in that movie.
I like the film. It was the sequel, wasn't it? I like that.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Like Jeff Bridges, was it in that? Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges, Mumbler McTastic. Oh, just like his the Western movie that he did.
Hateful Eight?
No.
That's Kurt Russell, isn't it? They're the same person.
Yeah, it's that he did the John Wayne movie, and he remade it.
Oh.
Where the girl gets gets bit by the snake.
Don't know what that.
True Grit.
Doesn't sound.
True Grit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, True Grit was awesome. But the problem with, and I really like him, the problem is he does have a tendency to mumble. He's hard to understand sometimes. Like, he definitely can be like... I just watched him do a thing where he looked at all of his past movies, like Tron and all that stuff, and he was... He was talking about
GQ.
him, and some of them I was like, yeah, GQ. And some of them I was all, I can't understand what he's saying, so I had to turn the subtitles on. Because I
love those videos.
Yeah, they're pretty fun when he talks about, like, when the actors, especially ones who are genuinely thankful for where they are.
The Nicolas Cage one of that's amazing.
Oh, does he cover, like, Bangkok, Syria, or Bangkok?
Oh, he covers everything.
No shit? Okay, I haven't seen that one. I like Nick.
And he talks so intelligently, like, he really knows about films.
You know who surprised me?
So it's fascinating.
Who doesn't talk? So you see a character, right? And it's pretty quickly you can assume that person and character talk the same, and they don't. But the one that really surprised me was how much I love, and I think he's the best version of this, but Penguin in Gotham. I think he's the best version of Penguin ever. But my God,
he's a good actor.
My God, when you hear him talk in real life, it's terrible. It's painful. It's painful. He showed up on an interview, and I was like, oh no. It does that thing where you see a character, and you're just like, that's, the person delivers those kind of speeches or is able to talk that way. Like Martin Sheen, I watched Martin Sheen in West Wing, and he talks like that in real life. So it's like, you could go, oh, okay. But then you see some other characters, you're like, damn, son. Like, they're just not good. Yeah. What were you going to say?
I was just saying, I agree, yeah.
What else do we got here? Got anything else to talk about before we wrap it up? Dude, we've been talking since when? 10:30.
I don't even know.
It's been more than 2 hours. Let's go with one last question. Here we go.
Make it a juicy one.
Would you rather?
Technically, I'm homeless.
Do you ever get sad when a show ends, or do you not care?
When I watched Parks and Recs, all 7 seasons, probably in the space of a week and a half. But I binged the shit out of that. And I wanted to cry when it ended. I felt like there was a hole in my whole body. I just felt... Same when I finished How I Met Your Mother for the first time. I binged it, and I just felt so empty. It was weird.
I felt that way with Boston Legal. It was probably the first time where I watched all of Boston Legal, and when it was over, of course, because their relationship's really good, I was just like, there's a hole in my heart that can only be filled by you. I was just so depressed by it.
The only way to get it more is to watch it more, then you get more depressed because you realize there's no new episodes. And
though I admit I've seen so many I've seen Parks and Rec so many times, I can just continually watch it and it doesn't bother me for some reason.
Yeah, I just did it in a week or a half.
Sonicron likes Boston Legal as well. Good man. That movie is, that show is fucking hilarious.
Best show.
Dude, and out of the blue, I still remember those guys were like, hey man, you should see this Boston Legal. And I'm like, I love William Shatner, but I was like, come on, it doesn't look that good. And that first time when they have their meal together, or their drinks on the terrace, and they're like, do you want to stay the night? And I was like, what the fuck? They're like 12-year-old kids. And then that dawns on me, that's exactly what they're like. And it becomes... It's one of the best friendships on a TV show, other than Ron Swanson and Leslie Knope in Parks and Rec. Which
I'd say that the James Spader one and William Shatner one for me is way better.
I don't think it's way better. I think it's better, but I would agree. I do think it's better, just not by that degree. But yeah,
I think it's much better.
You didn't like Ron Swanson and Leslie Knope then?
It's not that I didn't like them. I just thought that the one in Boston Legal was so.
So would you say Boston Legal and some other show, or Boston Legal, Friendship, and then Parks and Rec, even though it's way lower? Is there another show in there?
No, I'd say Boston Legal, then Parks and Recs.
Okay.
I can't think of many more shows.
The thing about Parks and Rec, it's probably the best part of Parks and Rec is when Ron, is always mad because she does nice stuff for him. And that one birthday where she gets him the fucking car alarm that shuts his doors and stops people from being able to get into his office. And he's like crying and he's teared up that she got him that.
He wants.
And I was just like, or that time he makes her a canoe. And that's the thing. That's why I love that show so much. It's so crazy, but at the same time, pretty heartfelt. They did a really good job.
Yeah, really well written.
Is there any shows you're interested in? We'll wrap it up on that. Is there anything coming up?
As in coming up?
Coming up, or just, other than Haunting. Oh, Battlestar Galactica, Sleeve says. Yeah, that was a good show, man.
Not my type.
Battlestar Galactica's not?
No, I didn't really like it.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't Star Trek enough for me.
Yeah, well, either was Star Trek Discovery. Terrible show.
I never saw that.
My God.
Actually, I'm pretty sure my brother and dad both watched that and didn't like it as well.
Yeah, I don't know how that got made.
The one with the new Star Trek show with Picard is supposedly coming out. That'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Excited for that. Brooklyn Nine-Nine season 6. I'm looking forward to.
Season 6.
Yeah, it just got picked up by NBC, didn't it? It got dropped by someone and picked up by someone.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that?
No, nope. I haven't watched that, and I haven't watched the other one. There's two jokey shows. There's the one that got canceled and then brought back last season. Got canceled by one company, and then a different company got it, and it's another one of the police / firefighter ones. Oh, speaking of firefighter ones, did you ever watch Rescue Me with Dennis Leary? No,
my dad did though.
Yeah,
he watches all. If I don't watch it, my dad does, basically.
Very impressive. I think the thing is like the cop shows and stuff, I would rather have them jokey, where Rescue Me is...
Yeah.
Rescue Me is pretty dark. Plague Soul says, here's a quick question. What's one franchise you'd love to be turned into a show? Oh, like The Witcher being turned into a show? That's a good question.
Although there is one more I'm looking forward to coming up more than any other show in the history of shows. The Blacklist season... whatever it is.
Season
good.
Nope.
Season 6 or 5 is so good.
Easily 7 seasons too many. Then
it's on the same level. Are you ready for this?
No,
are you ready for this? What am I going to say?
Not.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say anything that I don't agree with because I disagree.
It's on
with
the same level as
not even
Eagle.
No,
for
it's
me.
not even fucking
for
close.
Me.
It's not even close. It doesn't. That
not
doesn't
in terms
make
of
sense.
the friendship, but in terms of the series.
Negative.
So good.
You can't believe that. I don't believe you believe it. I believe you're just trying to cause me angst.
James Spader went from Boston Legal when he just improved himself even more.
He fucking did not. You're a liar. And you're going to get people to watch that shit show, and they're going to be...
No. It's not as good as Boston Legal, but I genuinely love The Blacklist. It's not as good as Boston Legal.
It's a terrible show. There's no chance you like Blacklist. I do not believe you.
I've seen all 6 series. I love it. Seriously. It's one of my favorite shows on TV when it's on.
It's impossible.
No. Genuinely.
Why?
I fucking love it.
Why do you like anything about that show?
Because I love James Spader, for one. I love his character in it, Raymond Reddington. I love Raymond Reddington. I love the characters. I love the storylines. I love the plot twists. I love some of the other actors in the show. I just love him and the storyline, really. It's just so gripping. Have you ever actually watched it?
Yes, I did. We talked about this. I think I told you I got season 1 and then some of 2. And I was just like, this is a terrible show. And anybody who likes it is most likely a serial killer. And
Blacklist and S.H.I.E.L.D. are my 2 favorite shows on TV.
The S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay. Not the Michael Chiklis cop drama, S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, I've not seen that.
It's pretty good. Oh, hey, wait. Here's a Scotty R. Hey, what's up, Scotty? Scotty's a longtime patron. Thanks for showing up. Do you think James Woods could pull off Joker? I do. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. James, I don't think he'd be as charismatic as like a William Dafoe. I think William Dafoe is that's a good choice.
It'd have to be an old man Joker though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and do you know how I think James Woods could pull it off? More of the criminal element versus the homicidal element. The problem with Joker is Joker's just sort of vacillated between being homicidal and nothing else, or doing homicide just at the end of his crimes, or criminal, or a mix. It's never really actually, I don't think, sort of hinged on just the criminal side, like the caper, because I think Riddler filled that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And to me, I would love to see James Woods as like a more mob style Joker, still sort of like just poking at Batman, continually getting away with shit. That's another thing I think the new movies didn't. They tried to pretend that the bad guys were getting away with shit, but they never really did. Like, Batman still ended up fucking them up all the time. Like, I would have liked to have seen it where, I mean, I guess you could say he got his back broken, right? Didn't Bane break his back?
In the third one, yeah.
So
if we're talking about an old man playing Joker, I think Mark Hamill would get it for me.
Yeah.
He's a good actor and he does the voice. I mean,
so you would want to see Mark Hamill as
well, if we're talking about an older Joker, he's got the acting chops for it, and he does the voice of the Joker. So just do that voice while he plays him in a live action film. I can see that working. If it's an older Joker, not obviously Heath Ledger age Joker, but Batman's older, he's older.
Yeah. So the thing about Hamill is that his voice reminds me of Joker, but he doesn't. Like nothing, if that makes sense. Like nothing about him makes me go, "That's Joker for sure." It's more like Scotty said, it's more the laugh, the voice.
Yeah, or maybe a badly dubbed Joker where he does the voice and it's just bad lip syncing and like a old Japanese kung fu movie.
Yeah. I think for me, for TV shows that I'm interested in are, I want to see this last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't know if I want to see it, to be honest.
I want to see it. I want to see how it wraps up. I want to see how Coulson, some stuff happens. I want to see how all that sort of wraps up.
Well, I'm going to get enough Coulson in the new Captain Marvel film.
Yeah, they found out, I think, 2000, it's based in 1991, I think. Didn't somebody figure that out?
So you've got a young Samuel L. Jackson, a young Philip Coulson, played by the same guys.
Yeah.
They just look awful with the CGI. It's funny.
Look awful? What do you mean?
Samuel L. Jackson doesn't look awful, but he looks a bit fake.
You mean the fake, what do you call it? Like the
Yeah, they've CGI'd him to look like he was in 1991, haven't they? And he just looks a bit off.
Okay, so let's talk about special effects. The Clue in the new Tron. Didn't Clue... so Clue in the new Tron looks fucked. And I was under the opinion it was because it was the special effects. They couldn't figure out how to make somebody look young like they did Robert Downey Jr. But now, one of the things I read was that they purposely made him look fucked up. And that was like some kind of weird thing where it's supposed to be the kid's memory was fucked up. I just think that's weird. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Do you remember what he looked like? Because he legitimately did not look like, I guess, a young Jeff Bridges. He looked like a cyborg. Like his face is iron.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
I can't read it. I'm looking at pictures of it now. It looks fake.
It looks fake, right? So I thought it was a special effects because I think, like you just pointed out, it can be hard. I mean, if Samuel L. Jackson doesn't look, they do a good job. Well, did you hear that there was no CGI for the starting of Guardians of the Galaxy when fucking Kurt Russell was in it? Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, that supposedly it was all, as Citizen Sleep's talking about practical effects, it was all practical effects. They got him, they basically put him on, and he has a person who works with him all the time, and she came and did his makeup, and like she knows his face. Whether that's true or not, or I'm misreading that, which could actually be true. Let's see, what else? The only thing I'm sad about is Amazon's losing all its shows. I mean, a bunch of shows are leaving at the end of this month, which is really sad. All the Disney kind of things are starting to go off because Disney's opening their own streaming service. And so...
so does that mean that all the Marvel films will now be exclusive to their service, or are they keeping them on Netflix?
It's going to be weird. I don't know, but do you know what I think is going to happen? I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to finish up, and then they're going to shuttle it off. I mean, it certainly feels like they're shuttling everything off to Disney, because Disney's opening at the end of next year their streaming service, whatever it's called. Like, I don't know what it's called. Disney streaming.
They're gonna have so many exclusive Netflix shows that will get people to sign up.
Do you think that that's why they're doing it? Do you think that's why they're doing all the Netflix exclusive stuff? Or their own shit? Is because they
I
know
think that they can. I think they cancelled Luke Cage and Iron Fist to do Heroes for Hire on their new show. That's what I think. On their new platform.
Heroes for Hire, which is Iron Fist and Luke Cage, right?
And Luke Cage teaming up. I reckon they cancelled those two, knowing people would be like, oh, and they're bringing them back in a new series based on the comics, and it's going to be on Disney, and people will sign up for that shit.
So, yeah, I mean, and so what? Do you think they'll drop Jessica Jones and all that stuff from Netflix?
They might transfer them over. I don't know how long Netflix have the rights for, if they have the rights at all, if Disney can say it's ours again.
I just have a feeling we're fucked. I have a feeling that, dude, you and I are going to have 18 services. There's
already pretty many at the moment.
Yeah, we're just going to have a shit ton of services. We're going to be screwed over by that. And it's like, I'm already paying, I couldn't tell you how much. I have Sling. I have Netflix. Sling is like cable TV almost. But I got Netflix. I don't have Hulu.
No, don't get that over here either. I'd like Hulu. Hulu's got some good stuff.
Hulu, the show, I can't remember what show it is, but the show that got canceled is actually still on Hulu because Disney owns 80% of Hulu, which people didn't realize. So Disney's letting them keep it, but aren't letting Amazon or letting Netflix keep it. Amazon, I have Amazon Prime, the streaming whatever they have. They have like football games and shit. Just nothing amazing, but
they got Spike TV on Amazon Prime as well, exclusive. Stars.
Not Spike.
No, not Spike. Stars. I mean,
okay, because I actually liked Spike. The other one was Man TV. Was that what it was called?
I don't know. I just know Spike.
Did you ever watch when you grew up the Japanese game show where the people overdubbed the English translation? It was called
Takeshi's Castle.
Yes, but that's what it was in Japan. But then they changed it, and it was
over here,
Guy Ledouche. And
over here, they just called it Takeshi's Castle.
Okay, so that got translated fairly poorly on purpose. So they would like do voiceovers, and it was Guy Ledouche and like two other. Those were the fake names, and it was people doing you're talking about people doing almost like the platformer, but in real life, where they would like run through doors.
Yeah.
That was
like
awesome.
Total Wipeout.
Total Wipeout.
Total Wipeout's a British show, but there's Total Wipeout USA as well.
Yeah, you're right. I did see that, and that is exactly what it's like. Exactly.
Yeah, the guy from Top Gear over here, Richard Hammond, he presents it.
MXC is what it was called.
Okay.
Yeah, that was awesome. We got anything else? It's been 3 hours. No, it's been 2. Sorry, it's 2.5.
Got to give the people what they want. That's what it is.
Got to give everybody what they want. We've talked about games. We've talked about board games. Talked about girls. Everybody wants
about everything we could ever talk about.
If you want good advice about girls, you definitely want to watch this podcast. That's what I'm saying. Because obviously the successes that Takedowns had just alone could end up, driving you for the next.
The amount of babies I haven't made is ridiculous.
Thank God. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're a good guy, but I don't want you to have kids. I just want to tell you that. The idea of you having a child.
The amount of babies I've put into tissues is ridiculous.
Wow. Thanks. That's as bad as telling me Blacklist is good.
Blacklist is one of the great shows on
TV. Negative.
We should do a poll in the chat right now. Who's seen Blacklist and who likes it? And I bet everyone's like, yeah, it's the best show ever.
No, they're going to agree because I'll just shut the chat off.
No, Johnny says no space talk.
Oh, we were talking about like space travel. Oh, that was the question that I don't know if you saw it, Takedown, but the question was, to be able to go to another star, would you jump onto it like a generational ship, even if it meant you weren't going to make it to the star, but let's say your kids would? Would you still want to go on the trip?
We're basically talking about that film with Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt.
Yes,
Passengers.
That's exactly.
I saw the end of that film and I got so depressed. I was so depressed at the end because they're never going to see it. It's so depressing.
I'm going to write that down. Is it a good movie? Pass.
I liked it. I really enjoyed it. Michael Sheen was brilliant in it as well.
What?
Martin Sheen, sorry, Martin, not Michael. Michael's the dad of the AIDS guy, isn't he? Yeah.
Martin Sheen is the dad of Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez.
Oh, okay, I'm thinking of Michael. Michael, yeah, the one who's in Kate Beckinsale, Michael.
That's Michael Sheen, yeah.
Yeah, I keep saying it in Kate Beckinsale like it was a role.
Well, technically it is, but would you? Would you want to jump on a ship like that? I would.
No, I would not.
just because it wouldn't be you getting there.
Imagine how many video games I'm missing out on, because they're not going to send them to the ship, are they?
Well, no, not if you're traveling light speed. They can't.
Exactly. It took them 21 years to send a message in the back to Earth.
Yeah, but I mean,
or something stupid. I mean, I'd take the latest releases from this month, and I'd be like, but next coming out.
Well, yeah, you have a tendency to fucking binge everything, so like you'd be done in the next, half an hour.
Yeah, but then future releases, you'd never get to play them.
No, but you could technically make your own. I think
make your own video games.
Yeah, I think the thing is I definitely would love to travel. Like even if it wasn't me, it was like my kids, and like to go to another planet would be, or another star would be cool. I would jump onto another ship. The only thing
I'd want.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go for it.
No, I was going to say what I want is Kate Beckinsale and another random man. Kate Beckinsale, so I can, with her, and then the other random man can get Kate Beckinsale pregnant. That one grows up to be 18. Move on to that one.
Wow.
But then it's not my kids. So that's not incest. So. I thought about this.
Yeah, you obviously put a lot of strange and creepy thought into it.
That's the only thing I'd do if she was with me.
So, but you're not a sci-fi fan anyway, really. Like, you don't like Farscape, you don't like Battlestar Galactica, you don't like...
I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I just don't like rubbish TV shows.
Okay, but didn't you like Star Trek Next Generation, which is one of the worst shows ever?
That is probably my second favorite version of Star Trek. The first one being Voyager.
What? Really?
Yeah, I think you think Voyager's worse than Next Generation, don't you? I think we both agree with Deep Space Nine shit, though, don't we?
Yeah, we do. So I know you are a fan of her, but I wasn't a big fan of Kate Mulgrew.
Oh, I love her. I met her twice. She's so nice.
She sounds like an NFL football player calling out a play at the starting.
Oh, hey, imagine that voice. 42. Imagine that voice in bed.
No, I don't want to imagine anything about that.
Oh yeah. But her and Orange Is the New Black as well. She was good.
Yeah, she was. I remember you saying that. Isn't Tilda Swanson in that too? There was the girl from Point Break. I brought her up.
The hot one. The one who's hot then, but looks like Ellen DeGeneres now. Yeah.
Wow. As you alienate half the people watching.
Because they're Ellen DeGeneres.
Let's see. Well, yeah. Well, she watches the podcast. So.
Oh, okay.
So there, other than Star Trek, is it because you like Star Trek because of like the fast travel and it's more high tech sci-fi?
Yeah, I guess so. It's because of the fast travel, because of the characters I like a lot.
But I mean, how'd you like Wesley fucking Crusher or whatever? Like,
he's one character.
How'd you like Worf?
He's not bad. How do you like Worf? Yeah. There's a whole effect named after Worf. That's how good he is. It's called the Worf effect, and I'm sure you've experienced that in many, many, many TV shows or video games.
No, and it's probably happened prior to that. So we would call it by its proper name. What about
he is the Worf effect originated.
So what about Jonathan Frakes?
I like him.
Okay, what about Data? Brett Spiner.
I love Data. Who doesn't like Brent Spiner as Data? He's brilliant.
No, I actually would say if you were to ask me what the one saving grace of Next Generation is, I would say it's Data. I actually found Data hilarious, and he's a nice guy as well. I found it hilarious. I think he does a really, really good job. Like,
he's brilliant.
He's a very, very good actor that I think in that role you would assume wouldn't get a chance to like do anything, but he did in the show. In the show in particular, he did. There was a lot of really good like moments in that show that involved his character. And then
he did in the film Insurrection. Star Trek Insurrection, Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
it was. Yeah, that's the film where he got an emotion chip and he got to show off some more of his acting chops.
Yep,
that wasn't a very good film, but yeah.
Well, remember, I'm a person who likes Nemesis, the Tom Hardy.
Oh, so you also agree with me that First Contact is the greatest Star Trek film of all time, don't you? I remember that. Pretty good film.
I'm pretending to be frozen. I mean, it's better than Generations. Wasn't Generations the shit one with McDowell?
I fucking love Generations. It's got William Shatner in it. Come on.
Dude, I love William Shatner, but have you ever seen a beloved character, die so poorly in a movie?
No, but the moment they meet is so iconic.
It's iconic, and amazing. Right? Well, did you ever see the interview show where they got all the captains together and William Shatner interviewed everybody?
Oh yeah. I watched
And he
that. Oh, it was on
interviews
Sci-Fi.
Cisco, the black guy who's the lead for DS9, and he's nuts. Like when he interviews him, he's like playing jazz, and he's like, "It's all about the groove, man." He is gone. Like,
he was really unwell for a period as well. That's maybe what it was.
Oh well, that's sad.
Unwell.
I didn't know that. I thought he was. I thought he was more like just
No, because when I saw him at a convention, he looked very, very 80. Like he was really thin.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay, well,
he might be all right now.
I thought the Captains was good. They even got Chris Pine, which I know William Shatner at first didn't like Chris Pine and I can see why, because he wanted to continue making the movie.
He wanted to fucking play Kirk in his 80s, probably.
Oh, he did. He was quite upset when the first movie came out. He was quite upset that they didn't, in some way, take the old characters and put them in. And
that's the most upsetting thing. They put Leonard Nimoy into 2 of them, but William Shatner doesn't get a cameo in 3. Like, what the fuck?
I think William Shatner's just got that bad rep, right? Like he's got.
Yeah, I know, but he is Kirk. Give him a cameo for fuck's sake. It's not fair. And he really wanted it as well. He really wanted it.
Do you remember prior to 2009's Star Trek that the original idea for the movie was that they cloned William Shatner? Did you ever? And they did it in 2 different books. They cloned Picard and William Shatner. Picard got made into Nemesis, Nemesis. But there was an original idea for a movie where Kirk dies, and then he comes back, and no one can figure out how, and they find out it's all because of this cloning system. But they just didn't end up making it. I think they were done with the old generation. There wasn't much more you could do. I mean, those guys basically
that was a long time.
They fought a fucking spirit god in 2 or 3 or 4. Was that 4? They fucking defeated Khan, probably one of the best movies ever. They defeated General Chang. Like after a certain amount of time, you're just like, yeah, we'll move on. Chris Pine did fine, I think.
Yeah, William Shatner got older and fatter as well, so.
William Shatner, it's apparently just like replaces any growth in his body anywhere in just his midsection. That dude's barreled. I mean, that's what I worry about, is he's going to be one of those guys that we wake up tomorrow and it's like William Shatner's passed away, which would be
it's gonna happen. It happened to Leonard Nimoy, so
it was crazy too.
He was young. He was younger as well.
Well, he's in Fringe for 4 seasons, and you can hear
Nimoy.
Yeah, he's got a major. He's a major character in Fringe, and in real life he had COPD.
Oh, COPD, yeah.
And you could hear it, even when they didn't pretend he was ill, like they do later. He would be talking, and he'd be like, you could hear it, like you could hear this audible breath, and you could tell, like when somebody. And I didn't realize. I thought that was a bad illness. I didn't realize it's fatal technically. Like.
Oh yeah, my grand's got it.
Yeah, it just degenerates you.
Yeah.
What's this? I think the remakes of Star Trek are good. Yeah.
I don't.
One,
at all.
I thought 1 was fine. I think
1's okay, but 2 and 3 aren't.
Do you know what I don't like? I don't like that Abrams decided he was going to flip shit around and change the way things happen. So in number, 3, where Kirk dies instead of Spock, because in Search for Spock, or in Wrath of Khan, he died, and they switched it. I hated that. It felt very PC. Like, oh, we know, like let's do something for the PC crowd. Felt very odd.
I didn't like the relationship of Uhura and Spock either.
Yeah, it did not hit off.
It didn't feel well, but it didn't feel right, because Spock isn't about that. Apart from Pon farr, Spock doesn't care.
Dude, Pon farr. Do you remember the movie where Search for Spock, where he has Pon farr with the hottie Vulcan?
No,
they're rubbing fingers.
One of the hottest TV shows of all time, hottest episodes of a Star Trek episode of all time is Star Trek Enterprise. Do you remember that one with Scott Bakula?
Oh yeah, I thought Enterprise was actually okay, to be honest.
Do you remember the smoking hot Vulcan in it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but they did
her. She had Pon farr in one episode, and she was in a tank top, and she was all sweaty, and she was coming onto one of the guys. I was just like, "Oh, this is basically porn. This is ridiculous."
So that's
good.
That's the problem. They did it just to do that, though. Like they didn't do a good job of explaining why. Well, I mean, they don't need to explain why somebody's attractive, but it was one of those things where, like, I mean, even in like their preliminary photos, she'd be like, the Vulcan in the sexy pose, and you're like, what? But of course we're just nerds. Like, I mean, it makes sense that like other people like it.
I want to see what she looks like now.
What What is her? 7 of 9? Isn't that her name?
No, that's Jerry Ryan. I'm talking about T'Pau.
T'Pau. Yeah. Sorry, got the wrong.
Jolene Blalock. It's Jerry Ryan in her day. Jesus Christ.
Jerry Ryan was 7 of 9, right?
In her day, she was unbelievable.
And Jerry Ryan was in which? Which one?
Was she?
Jerry Ryan was in which one? Which? Voyager. There we go.
Which is probably my favorite.
Why do you like that so much?
Jesus.
Why do you like Voyager so much?
I love Kate Mulgrew.
Really?
I think she's not hot at all, but there's something about her. She just has a presence.
Do you think it's her voice? Because I definitely dig like a multi-timbered voice.
Her Vin Diesel voice.
No, I don't like hers. Hers is too thick. But have you ever seen the TV show Expanse?
No.
It's very heavy sci-fi, so I wasn't assuming you did. But there's a Middle Eastern lady that plays a bad guy in that. She has almost a multi-timbered voice where it's got like this layer to it. And I always, whenever I hear those kind of voices, I'm always like, well, in fact, Boston Legal, one of the characters in Boston Legal has the same kind of thing. Also heard.
Oh, yes. She sounds very
husky,
deep.
But not
husky.
Not
that's
like
the word.
Not like testosterone man, but just husky. Yeah, I like that. Also heard a mention of a thing called The Quiet Place. The Quiet Place. What's that? Oh, that's the fucking horror movie.
John Krasinski with the stupid nail.
Yeah, that somebody should have just pounded in longer.
Get rid of that fucking nail, Jesus.
Yeah, I found that. I like him, and I'm happy that he's making movies because I think he's probably one of the most genuinely nice people in acting. It seems like.
Yeah.
Did you know he was married to the girl from not Oblivion, but the future movie that Tom Cruise does, where he goes back to the future multiple times, or he repeats the same day?
You mean the woman who's in the same? What? You mean the woman who's in the film with him?
Yeah, Emily Blunt. Yeah, Emily Blunt.
Why didn't you just say she's in the film with him?
Because I forgot about that film. I've tried to forget it. I did not like The Quiet Place at all.
She's hot though. She is hot.
Yeah. But he seems to be one of the really like nice people in.
Yeah. He's meant to be really good in Jack Ryan as well.
He's fine in Jack Ryan. Do you know the one I really liked him in was Benghazi? It's like 13 Benghazi.
13 Dark 20 or some weird shit.
Yeah, where it's about the Benghazi attack. And I think he does a good job. He can portray different people very well, which I think is weird when he comes from The Office and you see him as a nerd. But Chuck, the main guy from Chuck, which is another favorite of mine, he's Shazam. And, so what's his name? Levi? Something Levi is his name. He was also in Thor.
Oh, Zachary
Levi. He was one of the Thor's best friends. Blonde guy, I can't remember. In second and third one. Dies in like 4 seconds.
Can't remember.
Yeah, he dies right at this. Kate Blanchett comes in and kills all of his friends like in 4 seconds. He's one of the guys that gets stabbed in the gut. He's the guy with the rapier. He's got the foil, the sword that's like really thin. Shazam looks fun. I think Shazam does look fun. I think Shazam is the kind of fucking superhero movie I need right now, which is like Blank Man with Damon Wayans. Like I think that looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks fun. It looks like the only fun, decent DC film.
Well, and is Shazam's not jokey in the comics, is he? Or do you know the comics?
Well, he's a child in the comics, isn't he? And then he becomes an adult when he gets his power. So it's going to be jokey because he's a kid. I guess
it is going to be jokey because he's a kid.
He's mentally a kid as well because he's just got the body of a man, but he's still a kid.
You know who I get mixed up? Him and Black Adam. All the time.
Oh, Black Adam, who is going to be played by Dwayne Johnson.
What?
Dwayne Johnson's playing Black Adam in the new DC film, I'm pretty sure.
You mean Black Adam, a movie just about Black Adam?
I think so, yeah. I think definitely.
The Rock is going to play him?
Dwayne Johnson.
I love Ballers, the TV show he's in.
Same.
But I'm not I don't know if I would like him as Black Adam. Isn't Black Adam more very serious? Like, I only see him in the games, Injustice, and a couple other places, so I could be wrong on that. But I always thought Black Adam was...
I've never really seen Black Adam, but yeah, Dwayne Johnson is playing him.
No shit. Dwayne Johnson's just in everything, isn't he? Got his own Fast and Furious.
I think he's a good actor, though. To be fair, I don't think he's bad at all.
I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's good. I think he's average.
I think he's the best wrestler actor that's come out of wrestling.
Okay, okay. Now we're getting serious. You would rather see him than Stone Cold Steve Austin?
He's a way better actor than Stone Cold Steve Austin, though. Let's be honest. As an actor,
yeah,
Stone Cold Steve Austin couldn't do the comedies that he does, and then he does action films as well. So he's got range.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would rather see Stone Cold.
Yeah, it depends on the film, though. I'd rather see Stone Cold in a film where he's playing a mercenary or a murderer or a baddie.
Yeah,
I don't want to see Dwayne Johnson as a bad guy. Doesn't work.
Yeah, that wouldn't. I mean, well, even when he was chasing the bad guys, or even when he was chasing the guys in fucking Fast and Furious, you voted for him anyway, or you what do you call it? Oh, Plague Souls says the guy who plays Drax, Batista. Yeah, that Drax is fucking phenomenal as a character.
But I wouldn't say he's a good actor. He's good as Drax, but he's not a good actor.
Yeah, but
John Cena, I like John Cena a lot as an actor.
What? What's he done?
He's done loads of little things.
I thought he did like just Hallmark shit.
No, he did a couple of films where he played a Marine, and he was really Stone Cold Steve Austin sort of role.
Was he the first guy who did Shooter before the Ryan Phillippe TV show? No, that was Mark Wahlberg, wasn't it?
That's Wahlberg. I like Wahlberg as well, to be honest.
Yeah,
I really like Wahlberg.
Well, I mean, he was a POS when he was young. Like legit, if he didn't have a legacy of being fine now, I think he would be ostracized just like a lot of people from some of the shit he did when he was young. But
I think he injects steroids just into his arm as well, like nowhere else, just his arm, because his arms are massive.
Are jacked, aren't they? Yeah. When you see Transformers, he's supposed to be the dad mechanic, and instead he looks like the dude that's just fucking jacked in the back, just doing curls with the dusty weights, like fucking.
John Cena does some good comedies though. He's done a few good comedies. He's actually quite funny. He's a really funny guy in real life, to be honest.
He is. Supposedly, he's a very heartfelt guy. I've never seen. I don't even know what shows you're talking about. Like, I didn't know he did. The only ones.
Daddy's Home 2. He's in.
No, I think they're all Hallmark. They're all. It seems like they're all like almost like Hallmark movies that I've seen him in or seen him be in.
Well, Daddy's Home 2 is like a proper one. It's Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell, John Cena. He's not a main character in it.
Really? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So I am confusing that and thinking as a main character. What wrestlers?
He's a big side character.
Is there any other wrestler you'd like to see? I only know old wrestlers, so.
Okay. I think the first wrestler was Andre the Giant, who did films, wasn't he?
Yeah. Princess Bride was one of the first.
I saw a film last week that I really liked with Big Show. That was really good.
And Big Show's jacked now. Have you seen how much weight he's lost? Holy shit, it's incredible.
That was a really good film about a guy in prison trying to get out. Big Show was just this big fucker trying to take him down.
What was, do you remember what it was called?
It's him and Dean Cain.
Do you remember Dean Cain? Do you remember when the Big Show was rumored to be Andre the Giant's son, and they played that off in the WWF for a long time?
Really?
Yeah, they played it off that he was his kid because I mean he's
Paul White. That's his real name. That's a shit name.
Okay, the Jetsons. He was in films. He was in Countdown.
Vendetta. Yeah, it's Vendetta. It's him and Dean Cain, and it's really good.
Something with Dean Cain, and he's a terrible actor.
Oh, it's so good though, because Dean Cain just gets the shit beat out of him.
Oh, okay.
Dean Cain's playing the baddie, and then Big Show's playing the baddie, so it's a really interesting film.
So there's no good guy?
Well, Dean Cain starts off as a good guy.
Oh,
but it's different.
That sounds interesting. Good. Actually, yeah. The more you describe it. Oh, and then Roddy Piper, in They Live, or
it's really good.
I think Roddy Piper was sort of a sign of his times kind of thing. A lot of those guys were good on the mic. I think now everybody's pretty good in wrestling on the mic. There's some people that are terrible, but overall, Goldberg was not a very good actor though. I don't think. I think Goldberg was sort of a shit heel. He always seemed like he had no range. The Rock does have range. If you watch Ballers, the TV show, he actually does it fairly, especially like when he finds out he has to get hip surgery and like how he deals with it with drugs and stuff. He does a pretty good job. That's a funny show.
He's good in Jumanji as well. He's good in Jumanji.
You told me that. I have not watched that one.
He's also good in that Tooth Fairy film he did. I know it's probably not considered a good film.
I like that film. Bad. I like that.
Him and Stephen Merchant was so good.
Wait, is that the film where he's got the daughter? Or
he's the Tooth Fairy, and then Stephen Merchant's the Tooth Fairy, sorry, and then Dwayne Johnson becomes the Tooth Fairy.
So what's the one where The Rock has the kid and he's the football player and is like his daughter they give him back his daughter. I think the mom passes away or something. Yeah. I think he does have. I guess I would agree.
He's not bad.
He does have pretty good range overall.
I'd put him up with Mark Wahlberg as an actor because Mark Wahlberg's nothing special.
You don't follow weightlifting at all, right? And
really.
Sorry, like bodybuilders. So Ronnie Coleman, do you know who that is?
The name sounds familiar.
He's like 8-time Olympian and Mr. Olympia, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But there's a Netflix show called Ronnie Coleman, The Champion, I think is what it's called, and it's just his life now. And he's so fucked up, dude. It reminds you just how messed up physically all these guys are.
Oh, him. He was when he was Mr. Olympian. Jesus.
Yeah, he was huge. And he ended up he's got a bad back from doing squats, just too much heavy lifting on his spine. But
I'm looking at a picture of him then and a picture of him now, and he's got black or something.
Have you noticed that? Yeah, and the thing is he's also one of the few guys I've ever seen at his age just be that jacked. He looks bigger now than he did then. Well, he's not, but he is pretty stout. Like he works hard. Like those guys, obviously they're not natural at the same time, but you still have to work hard even if you're taking a ton of roids.
Yeah,
which that's exactly what they're doing. But I would like to see The Rock do something like. So Jumanji, I guess, is close to this, but I would like to see him do something purely comedy. I guess Jumanji is already that, right?
Yeah, I'd say Ballers is a little bit comedy as well.
Yeah. No, it can be very comedy. The thing about Ballers that always cracks me up is just how every chick just smoking, like the way they portray him as such a player, and it's just leaves this swath of hot chicks in his wake.
Yeah, but they're all curious, and they're all curious.
What do you mean curious?
They're all curious to see what's down there. They're like, yeah, it is. All the roids have shrunk that motherfucker down to like an inch.
His poor little testes from so many roids.
Had them removed.
What's so funny is why people get all pissy when you mention. Because you still have to work really hard, but like he's had 3 tit surgeries alone. You don't just randomly have tit surgeries. Like,
yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't had kids at this point as well. He's 50. Yeah. He needs to pass that shit down.
Did you know he was married to somebody? Do you know who Troy Polamalu is? Pittsburgh Steelers. Like he's a football player. Yeah, sorry, you wouldn't know that. Yeah. He. I don't even hear about him being married anymore. Now that I think about it, is The Rock even married?
I don't think Dwayne Johnson's ever had relationships in the news ever.
I always call him The Rock. Yeah, I want to see.
I don't think he's had relationships in the news that I can remember. Oh yeah, someone said in the chat, Central Intelligence was a comedy. That's really good with Dwayne Johnson.
Central. Wait, is that with
Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart. Yeah, that's actually
a pure comedy.
That was a pure comedy, but it was also he's divorced. People are saying he's divorced. Okay.
Wait, apparently someone said he's got a kid as well.
Yeah. I'm reading.
I just typed in Dwayne Kid. Fucks.
Dwayne. Oh yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Well, he's got a daughter who's like old enough to like. She's 17. Jesus Christ, she looks like him.
What's her name?
Simone Alexandra Johnson, and shit, she has got his face with a wig on. That's scary.
Simone Dwayne Johnson. Oh, hey,
that is scary.
When you were growing up, did you like Veronica Mars? You ever see that TV show?
I know what it is, but I don't think I watched it.
Oh, she does.
Oh, he's married. He's married as well.
She does look a little like him. I wouldn't go so far.
How does his marriage never come up in the news? I've never heard it. His wife is so hot.
Well, I think it's because just like Joe Rogan, right? Where they purposely obfuscate as much as possible about their families.
Yeah, but Dwayne Johnson's a bit bigger than Rogan.
Oh no,
so I would have thought that paparazzi would have probably tried.
But Rogan is showing up 2 times a day in people's feeds too, so his output is very high compared to The Rock's, and his input that he can get, whether it be shitty comments or Twitter, is much higher. So to me, they're probably whose wife?
Dwayne Johnson's wife. Oh, I need to see Joe Rogan's wife now.
But I was just saying about Joe Rogan, like he purposely. It's such a shitty world right now for like movie stars and stuff like that. Anything they say can be used against them forever, that kind of stuff. I think a lot of them try to get that shit removed. You ever watch the Edward Norton show? The TV show?
Yep.
When he does interviews, he always asks people like, or doesn't always, but sometimes he asks them like, what's their worst fan interaction?
Oh!
And some of them
you mean Graham Norton?
Graham Norton.
Edward Norton. When the fuck did he have a chat show?
Edward Norton
from the Hulk to a chat show.
Edward Norton would just talk about himself for all 3 hours. The Graham Norton show, which is funny as hell. But
I watch it every week because it's on over here.
Dude, he cracks me up. But when he asks people for their creepiest stories, the creepiest one is like from some of the biggest actors, like the guy who played Xavier in the new X-Men, the younger guy. The main actor. Oh, good British actor. I can't remember his name. He had a really creepy story, and so did Daniel Radcliffe from Hogwarts, from Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
He had some creepy stories of what people have said. Like, just... I think a lot of those guys just sort of disappear. Like, they don't want to be, don't want to be involved in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Just looking at pictures of Joe Rogan's wife now.
Joe Rogan's got 2 kids. Vin Diesel's married too. Vin Diesel moved out of the United States, right? If I remember right.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he moved because he didn't like the paparazzi. If I remember right.
Mm. You know Tom Segura?
Of course, yeah.
His wife's my favorite. She's hot and funny.
So I've talked to you and not known that was his name. I always forget his last name. I find him funny, but I find him it's weird. Sometimes he appears to be risque just for, like, some people, like Bill Burr, the way he talks. I sort of get it. But with Tom Segura, some of the stuff he says it feels like they're just pushing buttons just to push. But I don't know. It might be his thing. But when I listened to the podcast, I was like, eh. Thanks, Mad Baker, for subscribing for 5 months in a row to Twitch. Remember, you can subscribe to Takedown too. We'll be doing this every Thursday.
Oh yeah.
We probably won't be wasting your time for fucking 10:30, 11:30, 11:30.
Nah, they've stuck around. They obviously enjoy it. Gluttons for punishment.
Or it's just the bot that I hired to make it look like we have Twitter watchers or Twitch watchers. Do you like Segura better than Burr?
Than who?
Bill Burr.
Oh no, Bill Burr's hilarious. Bill Burr's so much better than most comedians.
Speaking of the comedians, though, do you think that they're even going to be able to continue, like, joking like they do? It feels like Bill Burr always has a one-liner about how everybody gets freaked out because of the stuff he says. It feels like comedians can't say what they want to say anymore, like without the world attacking them.
I think that comedians would always be alright because they're always going to have like stand-up shows where people aren't. They can complain, but nothing's going to happen because it's up to them what they do. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you think they'll be fine? Like you don't. I feel like they're on a downward slope to where they're apologizing for everything. Like lately, everybody's apologizing for everything.
Bill Burr never does that. That's why I like.
That is true. Bill Burr does not apologize.
Joe Rogan never apologizes either.
That's true.
Nor does Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, Joey Diaz. None of those guys.
Bert Kreischer is the one who lost all the weight, right? He's the comedian.
Yeah, and Joey Diaz is the one you don't like at all. Yeah,
that giant mobster.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking hate him. Why do you like him?
I just think he's so funny. He says it as it is as well. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. Whereas Rogan might sugarcoat some things. Joey Diaz just says it as it comes out of his head.
Right.
He's so unapologetic and so rude.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
I like the honesty.
So do I, but I like I said, I think when it comes down to it, like sometimes it feels like it's not honesty, it's just a ploy. You know?
But then even if it's just a ploy, he's a comedian telling a story, so
yeah,
give
for
him
sure.
some leeway.
I think with, I don't know, man, Joe Rogan, you think he fucking pulls punches? It doesn't seem like it. I mean, he
No, earlier in the podcast with Tom, he did a podcast 2 days ago with Segura's wife,
right,
Christina P, and he didn't want to go into a certain subject. Plus, he gets angry if you mention his wife as well.
Does he?
He doesn't want people knowing who his wife is.
Yeah.
True. So he never mentions his wife. If someone else on the podcast mentions his wife, which he just completely turns.
No shit.
Them. Yeah, there's a podcast with him and Doug Stanhope, and Doug Stanhope says, "Oh, your wife, Jessica or whatever." Yeah, Jessica. And he goes like, "Don't mention my wife's name." And the whole interview apparently was completely different vibe.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming he has that rule, probably. Right?
Yeah, because everyone knows who his wife is if they.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is like they're putting their asses out there, and I think sometimes they just, I mean, I just don't think they want to deal with it. It's pretty fucking tough.
But another one who's unapologetic, and I think will carry on being like that, never apologizes, is Bobby Lee. You know him?
No.
Little Asian dude. He's got the really hot girlfriend who's way out of his league. Like, way out of his league. Just Google Bobby Lee and girlfriend. You're like, what the fuck?
Funny, man. Funny works, right? Funny. Charisma works.
So does money, to be fair.
Yeah, but do you think he's rolling in
He's
cash?
rich as fuck. Oh, apparently he's a millionaire.
Oh, dude, I love him. I actually really, really, really like him, and I did not know his name, and I would not have found him again. I'm glad you found him. He is very, very good at being self-deprecating. Very good.
Yeah, and have you seen his girlfriend? Jesus.
Yeah. Do you know who else is just cracks the shit out of me? Is very talented Asian actor who's in the Hangover movies. The
little Chow.
That guy is. And man, did you see his when he won the award and he gave a speech? His wife was fighting cancer at the time. That was like one of those speeches where when somebody gives one, you're like choked up. He did such an amazing job. Like
he was a doctor for years, and he
was a doctor for years, and became a comedian. Isn't that weird? Because he's funny. Yeah. I mean, he's like legit. I think he's legit. His shit in Hangover is crazy funny. Like that is enjoyable to watch. And when he gets out,
it's not just the writing either; it's the way he performs it.
Dude, when he gets out buck naked out of that car, and
anyone could have done that, and it wouldn't have been as good as he did it.
But it's not only that; it's like not well endowed. And has no problem. It's just like you're just like, this guy is awesome. He puts it all out there in all ways.
Definitely.
Scotty R says, "I'll check it out." I mean, on the premise of being a prisoner colleague. Oh, The Perfect Getaway. I don't know what that is. Bill Burr is a blast. Seen him live. Dude stayed after the show till everyone got to take a pic with him. Yeah, Bill Burr, I'd like to see live.
I wouldn't be able to. He never comes over to England.
Why?
He's not big enough, I don't think, over here at all.
Gotcha. Isn't that weird too? Where some comedians will be huge, and I don't mean different, where different nationalities or anything. I'm talking about like UK and America, where it's just their sense of humor doesn't work. There is some really funny British comedians that no one knows, like at all here. You know, you guys will mention them, and maybe I've followed them or liked them, but you never. The one guy that's really the curly black hair, and he did he was always a guest on the TV show where they go by letter. Steve Fry does it, the big dude.
Oh, Alan Davis.
No, I love him, the goofy one. I'm talking about he wasn't always a guest, but many times a guest.
Jimmy Carr?
Yes, that guy is not very big here, but I know at least at that time he was huge. You know,
I'm not a huge fan of him anymore. I've gone off him a lot.
He's pretty like acidic, I guess.
Yeah, he recycles a lot of his jokes as well.
I think his delivery is different. Do you ever watch Ron White?
I don't know who that is.
Ron White's the giant dude with the blonde, white hair. He's about 70, and he drinks scotch the entire time he does the stand-up.
Never seen him, no.
You might like him. The only thing with him is he takes his entire take. So Bill Burr talks pretty quickly like he's telling you a story.
Yeah.
But this guy doesn't. He has huge pauses before he delivers the punchline. And it works for him. It doesn't work for everybody. But yeah, Ron White I think you'd like a lot. Yeah, Ron White. Yeah. Medivh says he's gotten out of touch. I would agree. The last podcast. That's what I was actually just going to mention. His last stand-up wasn't incredibly enjoyable. I wouldn't say that he was out of touch in that stand-up. I would just say it wasn't that funny. Like sometimes they lose it. Sometimes they.
I'm trying to think of comedians that are as big in America as they are in England. I can only think of one.
So Bill Burr's not. Was George Carlin? He probably was.
No, he's more of a niche over here. If you ask someone who George Carlin is, they probably wouldn't know.
Really?
Maybe not nowadays. Not nowadays at all.
But like back when he was alive and everything.
Back when he was alive, maybe. But the only one I can think of globally.
Oh, you cut out. What'd you say? Who?
Ricky Gervais is the only one.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good.
He's the only one I can think of, and I've seen him live, and he's very good live.
He is.
He's amazing live.
I personally loved when he came on the Academy Awards and just roasted everybody. I think it was Academy Awards, Oscars or Academy Awards. I think everybody. I think the political correctness that we have is pretty damning at times. Very useful at other times. Obviously, it's nuanced, but I really like him in some things, and then in other things, I cannot stand him. And one of the things is his laugh.
I love that.
His laugh just bothers the fuck out of me. Did you hear how there was somebody saying that they hated working with him, though?
Oh, loads of people. He's one of the most annoying people to work with on the planet. He's a massive child who will just antagonize you for no reason and piss you off.
Yeah, I think it was Norton's show, and there were like 3 people who were like, I love Ricky as a person, but working with him was really tough. He was really tough.
Robin Ince is one. Carl Pilkington as well. Stephen Merchant said that once. Quite a few people.
Yeah, I wonder. I think it is just like being, like you said, being a kid, and then
he's so immature. Apparently, he just like make noises and scream at you all day just to get your attention and annoy you.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think a lot of times, like behind the scenes, if you're working with somebody for 6 months, it's probably not going to be fun if they're a comedian. Not to be rude, but I mean, can you imagine like if that's their entire thing is to cut up a room and you come in there and you're working with them for 6 months? You can't tell me that person's not going to start acting like they really would. Like the blind, they stop acting all nice, and they start acting the way they really are. And I think that probably fucking sucks terribly. Well, what else do we got? Anything before we go? Dude, I've tried to close this up like 4 times, and we're at 1:30 my time. We've been on for like 4 hours.
We've been on for 4 hours?
10:30, 11:30, 11:30. No, sorry, 3, more than 3.
Jesus, ow, it's punched myself in the head.
Yeah, it worked well, though. It's actually been fun.
Well, it's gone longer than any of your usual podcasts, so it must be...
Yeah, I think the international's the longest, about 2.5, and then at some point, it's like...
then with that, you've got the problem of having too many people who need to do different things at different times, different countries.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
They need to go.
It's very difficult. That's why I like the idea of just, like, I mean, maybe having a guest someday, but just 2 people sitting.
Yeah.
It's easier to get your schedule shit together. Schedules.
Well, as I'm free all the time, it's easy.
Unless you're fucking making me wait because you're getting dessert, you bitch.
Oh, that was so good, though. It was chocolate fudge cake. Damn.
Why did you... So you got dessert delivered, but nothing else?
No, I got a burger delivered from one place and a dessert ordered from another place. Because the place I ordered the burger from didn't have any nice desserts, and the place I ordered the dessert from didn't have any nice burgers.
Did you make 2 orders, or does that place where you order from allow for that?
No, 2 separate orders.
God damn, dude. That's funny.
And then someone else in my house orders from 3 orders come to the same address.
As everybody, all the delivery people are, sup, man?
Yeah, just walking outside like, hi.
I used to, I don't anymore. I used to get Pizza Hut so often because you were surprised we had Pizza Hut here. I know you were thinking originally it was just there, but it's huge here. And we were getting Pizza Hut so often that the guy knew who I was as a reviewer.
Oh, that's happened to me now because we get the same company delivered, so they know me.
Yeah, and this guy was like, "You review video games." I was like, "Oh shit, here we go." Like that's just what I need.
Yeah. Stalker.
First world problems. Yes, they are.
That's why I try, Uber. Have you heard of Uber?
Yeah.
I order Uber just so I can get a ride with like a hot girl, but it's always the same old men.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
We had so we went to San Francisco, and this Russian guy, and he looked just like Nico from GTA 4. And he's like, he picks us up, and he had that thick Russian accent. It's like, my name's Vladimir Kurchenkov, and I'm here for your women. So we get in a car, And he drives us into San Francisco, and there's a certain part. You know how every town's got the dregs, the bad place, the downtown. Yeah. He drives us to the Tenderloin because we have to get to a place, but it's called the Tenderloin District, and it's bad, dude. And like he's rolling up the windows and shit, and he's like warning us about the place as we're driving through in his Russian accent. It was awesome. It was my first time to San Francisco, and I have to say that absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, I've never been to San Francisco. I'd love to go there.
I want to see Alcatraz. We didn't get a chance to. We drove by it, and I would love to go see Alcatraz. And you know, there's a couple places I would want to see. Alcatraz, Grand Canyon. I wouldn't mind seeing the Statue of Liberty, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, but that'd be nice. You should climb it though. You have to climb it like Assassin's Creed style. You have to.
What if you woke up one morning and you're like, news flash, you know, United States, some man is climbing to the top of the Statue of Liberty, and it's just me.
That'd be cool.
ACG beanie.
That'd be so cool. Can you imagine, like, if places in real life had viewpoints? Like, you know, in Assassin's Creed, the viewpoints and it unlocks more of the map.
Synchronization.
You climb up somewhere.
You're talking about synchronization.
You move up somewhere, and you sync with the area, and you get all the secrets in the area and all the best places. That'd be amazing.
Just go to like Statue of Liberty, and suddenly there's a camera twist, and you're like, "What the fuck's happening, man?" It's just places get unlocked for you. Go here, go there. You know what?
That'd be cool.
An Assassin's Creed in New York. Well, that'd be Spider-Man. Now that I think about it. Hey, speaking of it, you got the DLC.
Just downloaded it tonight.
What do you think? Play it tonight? Play it tomorrow?
No, I'm going to play it now, or whenever we're done.
Oh, okay. You're gonna,
or I'll just stay on the PC and just play some games on here. To be honest,
it's like 3-4 hours most, so you'll get through it pretty quick. I think overall you're gonna like it.
I think my dad's already finished it.
Your dad plays, dude. We need your dad on the podcast and just talk to him about just talk to him about games. Because your dad,
he just spend an hour calling me a cunt, probably. That's what he does all day anyway.
Your dad is definitely risque. What's up, Scotty? I really wouldn't want to live in San Francisco, Karak. You'd be tossing all your ACG clothing stuff. Yeah, that's true. At the top of the Statue of Liberty.
Scotty too hotty.
Oh my God!
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know you knew who that was.
What?
Scotty Too Hottie? That's an actual wrestler. Do you know who it is?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, it is. I just remember. I used to follow wrestling in the 90s.
Yeah, that's exactly. Buff Bagwell and Scotty.
I can tell you who I used to like.
Rick
my favorite wrestler of the day. I don't know why. Rob Van Dam, and I do not know why.
What? Dude,
I don't know.
So generic. Really?
I don't know why I liked him. I just did. He was my you know when you support. I do not know why.
So back then I liked Diamond Dallas Page. Do you know who he is?
No.
Do you know who, well, yeah, I mean, Goldberg was there. I wasn't a big fan of Goldberg. Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, as somebody said.
When you say Goldberg, are you talking about that actor guy?
No. No, he's a wrestler. Goldberg is his actual name.
What's his first name? Because there is a wrestler who is
Bill
actor now.
Bill
Goldberg.
Yeah.
He's in the Goldbergs, the TV show.
Yeah, he's the brother you said. I think you told me about this. Yeah,
Brian Callen. Yeah.
For me, like, yeah, back in the day, like I didn't like WWF at all, so I was watching at the time NWO, WCW back when they actually kicked WWF's ass for 2 years. It was so fun. Razor Ramon. Do you know who that is? Come on, you got to know who Razor Ramon is.
Well, if he's from this thing you're talking about, I only know WWF.
Oh, dude, you missed out, man.
I know Kane, The Undertaker. That's about it.
I guess that
all
is
the big ones that everyone knows.
Yeah. I guess that. But Scotty Too Hottie, I'm surprised you. I don't know. Do you think maybe you just said the words and you didn't know who the wrestler was?
I didn't know when I said it, and then I realized who it was.
Yeah.
Who was the one with the mask? I used to like him as well.
The Lucha Libre guy.
Yeah.
Mysterio
wrestler.
Mysterio.
That's
Rey
it.
Mysterio.
Mysterio from Spider-Man. Yeah.
Do you know he's still wrestling, dude? A lot of those guys are.
Right.
Hulk Hogan just wrestled. Hulk Hogan.
Really?
Hulk Hogan's about 670 years old. Hulk Hogan.
Well, lucky for him, it's scripted, so
yeah,
he can actually
Hulk
win.
Hogan might have been here when the continents were still all connected together. Like that motherfucker has been around for ages.
Him and Andre the Giant go way back in time.
Andre the Giant. What about Ric Flair? He's still wrestling.
God, he's old as fuck. He's old. He's way older than even.
Dude, Hulk Hogan grew up watching Ric Flair.
Exactly. Ric Flair's got white hair now, isn't he? It's not because he's dyed it. It's because he's literally got white hair.
It's literally like it's jet
old man hair.
Yeah, it's old man hair. But the thing is back in the day, like when wrestling, when you didn't know it was fake, like that's what I loved. In fact, once they admitted, even though you knew it was fake, you hoped it wasn't. If that makes sense.
I used to think it was real when I was a kid.
Oh, did you? I did at first, and then like a couple times you'd see something goofy, and you'd be all,
Yeah.
maybe somebody get hurt, but they'd still win the match, and you'd be like, how did that happen? Like, how did the guy
Yeah.
just suddenly fall
I
down?
used to watch it every week when I was like 12.
So, are you talking The Rock?
WW.
The Rock
Yeah,
days?
Dwayne Johnson, Rob Van Dam,
So,
Kane, Undertaker.
Do you know who Abdul the Butcher is? No,
No.
he's two before your time. Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner?
No, I know Rick Steiner is. He's an English chef.
Shawn Michaels, of course, he's the right age.
Shawn Michaels, yeah.
Do you remember when Shawn Michaels was part of the tag team with Marty Jannetty?
No, but I remember Brett Michaels and Shawn Michaels being brothers.
Wait, what? No, they're not. You talking
Not
about
the actor Brett Michaels? I'm sure there's another Brett Michaels who's a wrestler. Wait a minute.
I used to run
he's a songer-singwriter. What am I on about? Songer-sing? I just said he's a songer-singwriter. Jesus.
Christian and Edge. I remember them.
I remember Edge.
The Hardy Boys. Big Daddy and Giant Haystack.
Big Daddy. I remember him.
Macho Man Randy Savage, everybody remembers. Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior were two of the craziest people in the back room. If you guys ever want to like read about how crazy shit can get, look up some of the interviews about working with Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior in particular. And you're just like, especially Ultimate Warrior, he was pretty nuts. I mean, he actually, like, people were legitimately confused sometimes because they didn't know what he was doing.
Big Daddy is also one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies.
Are they talking about Big Daddy Diesel, the wrestler? I loved him because he was in NWO, and then he was partnered up with Shawn Michaels for years. He used to be Big Daddy Diesel used to be a guy named Oz, a good guy named Oz, and he did the worst finisher ever. Remember when finishers were a thing?
Yeah, they're not anymore then, I don't know.
They're not as much, no. I mean, you hear about it, but it's nowhere near like it used to be. Like, remember Ric Flair had this chop? Do you remember the Ric Flair chop across somebody's chest? Yeah. He would like chop somebody, Hulk Hogan, and drop the leg.
What was Dwayne Johnson's?
The elbow drop. And
that's it.
Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? And there was a name for it. The people's elbow. The people's elbow, right? Isn't that what
he should have done? Yeah, it was. Yeah. But he should have done one called "Can You Smell What's Cooking?" He shoves his fingers right up his backside and makes you smell it, and you pass out. That's what he should have done.
Wow. Why?
Because that would be the greatest wrestling move of all time. Anyone at home could pull that off.
We had British wrestling and reviews over here.
Straight past it. I see.
Yeah,
I see how I'm valued.
Remember back in the day, a pile drive was a finisher? Yes, I do remember back in the day when a normal move was a finisher. Like a move that wasn't crazy where somebody was jumping off, the 15th rope, even though there's only 3, and somehow on top of a ladder, and you just saw crazy shit. Medivh says, interesting, Triple H was part of the curtain call that broke kayfabe and married Stephanie, so now he basically runs a company he almost destroyed.
See, Sonicron agrees with me that there was a finisher like that.
When in the game, in the game Bloodborne. DDT was a great move. I actually thought the Razor's Edge, Razor Ramon's power slam was one of the most dangerous. I still remember some wrestlers would like, dude, I'm not letting him put me on do that, because that is the most incredible. It is, I mean, picking somebody up by the armpits and then slamming them on their own head. Like, I don't even know if that shit, I don't know if somebody does that now, but that is insanely dangerous. Like, holy shit. Did you ever see that? The Razor's Edge takedown?
No.
You should look it up on YouTube. Look up, like, the Razor's Edge finishing move and tell me that doesn't look like somebody, would end up getting killed. Jake Snakes Roberts. Yeah, I remember that shit. Undertaker, choke slam.
I remember Undertaker. He's still wrestling, isn't he?
I think he just recently retired or is retiring this year. What about Kane, his fake brother, when he first started?
I remember Kane. Kane used to scare the shit out of me when I was young. Because he didn't have a face, did he? He had a mask on and you couldn't see his face. Didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really like a scary character.
Because remember, he was with Paul, the manager. And I will tell you, Undertaker. The mortician looking dude, Paul. Somebody'll say it in the chat. He passed away, unfortunately. Considered one of the nicest guys in wrestling, at least from what I remember. Yeah, I loved watching those. Remember back in the day when there were stories, like, and all the stories interconnected, and there was all this crazy shit. Now it's just like Paul Bearer. Thank you. Of course. Why did I not think of Bearer? Paul Bearer.
That's a good name, Paul Bearer.
Yeah. And he was a
Nice
manager.
pun.
You never saw that, huh? You never saw Paul Bearer?
No.
He's a manager, Undertaker, and then when Kane came, he took over Kane and like came after.
Was he a real person, or was he another actor in the? Was he like a real manager, or just a manager in the story?
He was just a manager in their story. I mean, he wasn't in real life. He was, just the generic. He was Miss Elizabeth of his day, kind of.
Wait, so the marriage is real? If a male wrestler married, was that outside of it, or?
It depends. So Stephanie and Triple H really got married. Elizabeth and Macho Man really got married. And then the rumor is that the reason why, for the longest period of time, Savage wasn't inducted into the Hall of Fame was because he had sex with an underage Stephanie McMahon. So there was definitely hooking up going on.
Stephanie McMahon, which one's she?
She's the daughter that's married to Triple H now. That's the rumor, and I don't know, that rumor could have been kiboshed a long time ago. That's just the last time I remember hearing.
Oh, her. She scares me. She is so, like, dominant.
Oh, yeah, CM Punk and AJ Lee. That's true. Superfly Jimmy Snuka. The problem with Superfly is he was a murderer. Look up Superfly's fucking past, and the dude was a POS. Shane.
Who was the rest of it that killed his family and then himself?
Oh.
Jericho?
No. Chris Jericho? No. It was
No.
Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Chris Benoit.
And what's
I
weird
remember that story.
Is, it was pretty crazy. He was pretty normal until later when they said that, like, he got a bunch of concussions. And the rumor is, like Joe Rogan always talks about, do they have brain damage and that causes depression? And whatever happened, like, his attitude started to change. He started to get really, like anti-government kind of thing, conspiracies, and then just sort of went nuts. And it was sad, man. Like, that was, I mean, it's always sad when somebody gets killed, but it was sad there to see, like, having people say he just slowly devolved, from that point on. I mean, I think overall, though, there isn't a history as much of violence in, like, WWE as there is in, like, NFL. You know what I mean? Like, NFL, you're hearing about it all the time, where you're hearing about, like, somebody murdering somebody beating their wife, stabbing somebody, what have you. It seems like in NFL, it's, like, become, I don't know, maybe it's, saddest tragedy I remember is Owen Hart's death. Yeah, when he fell. That was pretty crazy, man. To fall during a live match, and that was televised. Like,
really?
Yeah, because don't you remember that? Owen Hart, he was Bret the Hitman Hart's brother, and he did the zip line. He was supposed to do a zip line and drop into the center of the ring, and he did a zip line and unhooked and fell all the way down.
Really?
In front of
live?
Yeah. And the weird thing about Owen Hart is about 6 months later, they did a storyline and they faked another person falling. And I remember that sort of happened, and people were like, whoa, that was too far. And then that's sort of, no one talked about them doing that storyline again. Because it was pretty tasteless. Especially, that's pretty tasteless. I mean, when you really look at it. Oh, that's thanks for subscribing, Drum King. Medave7. I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sure. What's crazy is everyone who knew Chris said he was a really nice guy, but he had a roid addiction. I don't think roid rage is real at all, but that's just me.
Yeah, otherwise wouldn't more of these wrestlers be violent at home?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about, steroids is, of course, it's raising your aggression level because of, some people's aggression level, but, like, having known a lot of people who were on that, it's just not really ever played out. And certainly when you look at the bodybuilding scene where they are doing insane amounts and very rarely, in fact, you get a Ronnie Coleman who's like, hi everybody. He's like the Mike Tyson of like bodybuilders. He's like, except he doesn't bite people and do crazy shit.
Yeah, because you'd expect Dwayne Johnson or John Cena to be really
Yeah. It just, I mean, I think that's an easy excuse for just somebody who's violent, right? Like, well, it's almost like somebody's, I mean, the thing is, all drugs are that way. Like, there's always an excuse. It's like, oh, it's this. Well, it's like that person, other than PCP, which if you hear stories about PCP, it's crazy. those people do go crazy. Overall, a lot of stuff is just the person acting out. Inhibitions.
Or maybe roids do give you rage if you're that sort of person who's already angry.
Augment it a little bit.
Yeah, it just makes it worse, but it won't give it to you if you haven't got it.
Yeah, I mean, well, and studies have shown that it really doesn't cause any, like, increased aggression. But I will say this, like, as somebody, you know, who knows people who've done it, they're intense when they work out more, if that makes sense. Like, you'll be working out with them, and they're like, let's go, you know, but it doesn't come across as, let's go, I'm going to punch you in the face. It doesn't come across that way. The Swift Turtle says, I was legitimately training to go into professional wrestling as a career, but then I realized firsthand the physical toll that it takes. Yeah. Dude, it's insane. None of those guys... I mean, Hulk Hogan's had 2 knee replacements, I think. At least one.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really, not to be rude, but Hulk Hogan wasn't really athletic anyway. Like, he wasn't doing crazy stuff. The leg drop, like, it wasn't like he was out there leaping off the top rope very often, like Macho Man. Macho Man would leap not only onto somebody, but about 18 feet in the air, too. Like, that guy was crazy, man. Did you ever get to see wrestling live, Takedown?
Live, as in sitting in person?
Like go into an auditorium. I got to see it live one time.
No, because I think back when I used to like it wasn't as big in England. They come over here all the time now with WWE. They come over and do it in Wembley Stadium, but back then they weren't really doing that.
Paul Soul says, "Oh man, that reminds me of Sid Vicious breaking his leg." Yeah, that was the worst video I've ever seen. That was worse. Sid Vicious breaking his leg was worse than Anderson Silva to me. Hulk's best moment was lifting Andre the Giant. Can you imagine?
Didn't he lift him above his head nearly?
No, matter of fact, he just talked about it recently. Andre did power slam him, but it's pretty tight. It's like there was no loft.
He's got to be one of the heaviest guys ever.
Yeah,
Andre, because he was like 7,000.
Do you remember George the Animal Steel?
No.
Super back, super hairy, always pretended to like be a caveman. You never saw him, huh? He was almost as big as Andre, just in weight. And then Big John Studd. Really? You remember Big John Studd? Adrian says Matt Hardy retired recently because his spine is starting to fuse with his pelvis. Okay. That's a shitty way to go. Anyway, I think that'll be it from us. That's more than 3 solid hours of us talking. I definitely appreciate everybody sticking by. If you get a chance, subscribe to Takedown. Subscribe to myself.
Subscribe to me.
We're gonna try to hit Thursday at 10:30. Probably won't be 3 hours, but who knows? Because this is the time.
Might be.
This is honestly all this really is. Aside from us not being as risque as we usually are, this is just recording our normal chats because we usually will sit and chat for 3 hours anyway. So.
This is just us trying to knock Rogan off the top spot.
That's what it is, right? Fighter and the Kid. That's what it is. We'll have to come up. Oh, we need to come up with a name. That's a thing. If you guys want, throw a name in there for this random podcast. We've been trying to figure out what to fucking name.
Taking down Karak.
Yeah, but that's just my name in the name. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it's my name as well.
Yeah, but you're Mr. You're like 3 different names. You're like Mr. KD.
I've got thousands of names. It's tax fraud, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Tax evasion.
But we do need to come up with like a name.
I think everyone in the chat should put a name right now, and I'm going to be amazed at some of them.
Yeah, if you guys have names, I would love that because it would be nice to be able to come up with one and sort of get it all together. Anyway, if you get a chance to subscribe or donate to the channel, I definitely appreciate it. If you get a chance to subscribe to Takedown, I definitely appreciate it. You're going to see some more reviews from me. You're going to see some videos from him. I don't know what they'll be. I don't think they'll be mostly games. Mine will be, but we'll see. And
mine's just going to be me in the shower.
Wait for sale. Definitely. Oh, I'm rating Takedown. Not never touch.
You're reviewing. Oh, that would be so creepy if I did a video of me taking a shower and you reviewed it.
Graphics are up first.
How graphic was it? I saw full penis.
The particle systems were great until I scrolled down and saw his penis, which was clipping due to a VSync issue. No,
we should do that.
No, we should not. What the fuck are you talking about?
You should review me in everyday situations. Me taking a dump, me eating dinner, me in the shower.
The sound, music, and voice. The sound, the grunt. little echoey in that
The
chamber.
sound of the poop splashing on the water was perfection.
That's so wrong, dude.
Oh, no, you should do a walking the walk with me having a shower. There we go.
No, I definitely don't want to. It'd be the shortest walking the walk ever. Anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway, peace out, everybody.
I see.
I see. You just now get it. Peace out.